All right. Can you guys hear me? Maybe. Sorry for that echo, but can you guys hear me now? All right, perfect. Yeah. Um, my bad. I tried to do it on a new, I guess, streaming platform, and it's just not the same as the old one. So I guess either I have to play around with this a little bit more, or yeah, or I'm going back to the old one. Sorry about that, guys. So I can't really play the intro because you guys have no audio. So that freaking sucks. So thank you, everybody that is here. Truly appreciate you guys. Yeah, I don't think Streamlabs is my friend. Mm-mm. No, and it sucks because it's a lot cheaper than StreamYard. But yeah, maybe I just don't know how to use it. Either way, thank you guys for stopping in. Truly appreciate you guys. Sorry there's no like little intro, but we got some good show for you guys today. Well, we have a good show for you guys today. We have a special guest, which is Jonathan Harris from Westward Whiskey. So that's going to be really cool. And yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it. Poor Decisions have been talking about it for a while now. So we're going to go through these and talk a little bit more about Jonathan, hear a little bit more from Jonathan, and see what Westward is going to be up to, hear what they're doing, and just get a little bit more from his point of view of how he started in the industry and anything else that he really wants to tell us. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys being here. That is awesome. I'm going to go through some other whiskeys, and quite honestly, I don't have one poured right now. So what the hell? Those might be a little too sweet, but shout out to Bourbon Hall. So I picked this up. There we go. It's the Augusta 8. So I'm gonna pour that in here, and we'll start off with that. Pretty freaking good pour. Let's see. Jason is on. Give me the thumbs up, brother, and we'll bring you on. It's pretty good. What are you guys drinking on? Anything that you guys are sipping on right now? And I'm gonna start cheersing y'all real quick. So, Jason, you ready? All right, perfect. Bring you on stream. There we go. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm a man.
All right. It looks like you're frozen, at least on my end.
Yeah, now frozen on my end.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
No, I can definitely hear you. Okay. You were frozen before, but yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. So I tried playing the intro. I tried playing the little start screen. No audio. I'm like, what the hell?
We got to spend some time with it, brother. That's all.
Dude, this thing, I don't know. I might just go back to what I know. I might just go back.
You are about change. We'll get there. Have faith.
It's not about change, man. It's about having stuff done, like work when you want it to work, right? But again,
that's just because you know the other one so much better. We'll get there. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Man. There's so many tedious things on here. So I don't know.
Always.
But we have a few people on. Thank you everybody for getting on. Like I said, Jason and I, we have Jonathan Harris from Westward Whiskey. We're going to be talking about Westward Whiskey in general. We're going to go over the picks that we did, Poor Decisions. So go to poordecisions.club, guys. And I'll just get it out of the way now. We still have these for sale. So if you're looking for some really good short barrel Bees Knees 4, these are amazing. Sean's pick and Matt's pick, really freaking good. Poordecisions.club. And I don't know if we have any more of the Westward left. I know last time we got the check, I think there were like 4 of the 17 of the 17. I guess I'm low. Thanks. Thank you, William. Appreciate it, man. Let me see. Mm-mm. All right, is that better? Maybe I just need to get closer.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Carlos, you still have an echo.
I don't hear the echo.
I mean, I hear it on my end, but I just thought that I was hearing it off of yours.
Try talking for a second. Let me try something real quick.
Yeah. Damn, man. Bad echo. Yeah, guys. I don't know. And I have the echo cancellation on my end. Let me take it off. See what it does. Can you guys, what about now? Can you guys hear me better now without an echo? Or do I still have an echo? Jason is super loud a little. Well, he's a little loud. At least on my end.
What are you all trying to say here?
that your mic is up. I can't hear one. You can't hear one what? All right. Can everybody hear me? And do I have an echo?
I don't hear an echo.
Jason has the echo. Okay. Is he the one with the echo? All right. What about now? Still have an echo?
Talk some more.
The echo has moved to Jason. Echo back on Carlos. All right. So I had the echo cancellation off when I did not have an echo, which kind of defeats the purpose of echo cancellation. But yeah, I turned it back off. So is there any echo on my part yet? Or anymore? Hey, what's up, Roger Randall? All right. How's my audio? How's my volume? And do you guys hear an echo? Jason's still loud with echo. Okay, Carlos, you're fine now. All right, so Jason, turn off your echo cancellation, I guess. Because that's all I did, which, again, defeats the whole purpose, but... Good, no echo. All right, perfect. Hey, Josh, what's going on? Hey, Richie. Thanks for joining on, guys. So, I think we scared Jason away. Oh, guys, it wouldn't be a live stream without freaking problems. You know, if you were mean, we could, these guys, took it all back. Yeah, right? Echo Pong. All right. Jason, you are on now.
Can you hear me okay? Now I hear the echo on your side.
But they're telling me that there's no echo on me.
I don't hear an echo on you, but I can hear myself through your speakers.
So I guess that's what the echo cancellation does. Yeah. All right. We got Jonathan in the background. And I'm sorry, Jonathan, if you can hear us, because we're having some issues here. And I'm about to get my money back from this software, I swear. All right, let me put on headphones. And
I see. I don't hear it anymore, though.
Shouldn't hear me. All right. How about now? You don't hear yourself, obviously, right? Well, talk.
I didn't. Did you put the echo cancellation back on? Because I think if you did, as soon as you did, it went away.
What was that again? Sorry.
Echo cancellation back on before you plugged in your headphones. As soon as you did, it went away. If that's what you did. I didn't have it on to start with, so maybe we both have to have it on, and that was the key. Let's see. You go ahead and talk.
I don't know, man. I can't hear you too well, but whatever.
I'm not hearing an echo from you. Oh,
no, not even right now.
Again.
Yeah, because now I put the speakers back on.
All right.
Welcome to the shit show, everyone. All right, what about now, man? You shouldn't be able to hear yourself.
Let's see. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I can
because I had to put on the headphones, which I freaking hate, but whatever. All right, guys. Nobody hears an echo now. Is Jason good? Hopefully, we don't have the same issue when we bring on Jonathan. All right.
I don't know. I was told I was too loud, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, a little too loud, man. You know.
Then everyone agreed too quick that I'm always loud.
Yeah, I think that was it, man. We just can't take you anywhere, Jason. Anyways, guys. All right. So now we got we got it all figured out. At least, hopefully, we do. And Jonathan's been nice enough to wait in the background, so we're about to bring him on, guys. So without further ado,
hello.
What's up, Jonathan? How you doing, man?
Doing good. Waiting was easy. I have whiskey with me, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What are you drinking on over there, man?
Well, a little bit of a spoiler, but I just got a nice shipment in from our California distributors of two fancy bottles from a barrel picking group called Poor Decisions.
Oh, nice, man. I like that. That's awesome,
so I'm sipping on.
You want to show those again, Jonathan, real quick?
Yeah, of course. We got this is Poor Decisions couldn't pick between two half barrels, so we did two half barrels instead of a full barrel. So this is barrel number 412, which is around 9 years old. It's kind of as far as the barrel picking group, the initial naming convention. This one is called Hazelnut Brownie, nice. And then the other one, which I'll open a little bit later. This is barrel number 17202, and this one was called Cherry Sex Bomb, which this one tends to be my favorite for sure.
Yeah.
It was perfect. I actually just got the shipment in a couple days ago, and I was like, great, I have an excuse to open them too. I try and build up a library of all the different barrel picks that I've been doing. So
that's awesome, man. So, you said your favorite was the 17202? 17202,
absolutely.
Okay. Which is the Cherry Sex Bomb. Everyone.
Yeah, I think it's not young by any means. Like Westward, hopefully people are pretty familiar with Westward, but
we're gonna get into that.
Yeah, we don't do any age statements. Yeah. But these run a little older than our normal, so like we're normally striking between like 4 to 8 years old. 8 being on the older side. This is a 7.5 year at 17202. And it is I don't know. I'm a sucker for having that fruit note in my whiskey rather than just all big, caramels and vanillas. Having something more stone fruit, I'm super into.
Nice, man. I am a little bit on the opposite, right? So while they're both good, I freaking love Barrel 412, which is the chocolate hazelnut brownie. That one is my freaking jam.
That is what I'm sipping right now. I am also huge. I remember my biggest note. I get like major yeah, like brownie fruitcake on it. I love it.
Yeah, and I'm about to join you on that, man. I was sipping on some Augusta.
Yeah, not to beat us to the punch.
I know, right? I was sipping on some Augusta Old Root 8 just to start off, but let's get into some American single malt over there.
Yeah, it's on a tip of everyone's tongues these days.
Exactly. So that actually gets us started out real quick, because what do you think? So American single malt wasn't really talked about too much in the past, at least from my point of view, and you might have a different point of view, but I know that it just got named like as an official whiskey, right?
Right.
But what do you think contributes to the popularity of American single malt right now? Like, do you think it's just one thing? Is it a few things? What are your thoughts on that?
It's a few things. I think we're at this perfect moment of kind of whiskey education in the U.S. that I think is hitting right for American single malt. Like, we have groups like this, getting to specialize in taking whiskey to more people. I think it is strange to me that it took this long for single malt to take off in the U.S. Like, I have a few theories on why things have gone the way that they have, but it basically took, I think we were the second by a couple of months to start doing single malt. So Westward, we've been around for 20 years now as of last August. So when we founded, there was only like 30-something distilleries in the entire U.S., including the big guys.
Oh, wow.
And now there's 5,000 artisanal distilleries. So we really got to kind of try and set the standard for what making whiskey on the West Coast was like. And whiskey's always adapted to where it's being made. The only reason why bourbon exists today is, when people came to America, there wasn't enough barley on the East Coast to keep making single malt. And so they had to not drink or find a way, and like good Americans, they found a way, and that way was corn. But once you get out here on the West Coast, like not only is barley super plentiful again, but we have some of the best maltsters in the world. The brewing scene here is amazing. We have our own kind of granted, this doesn't help too much, but there's some fun stuff with it. But we even have our own variety of oak called Garyana, called Oregon White Oak. When we set out, we were like, okay, what is the adaptation that whiskey has here for the West Coast? And that's kind of why we went back to being a single malt. But the rest of the world, when they're making their regional whiskey is basically the standard is a single malt. Indian whiskey is single malt, Australian whiskey for the most part is single malt, Taiwanese, and so. But barley is a much more expensive grain than something like corn. So I think that's.
Oh, so it is like barley's more expensive then.
Barley's like 18 times more expensive than corn.
Oh, wow.
And so if it's easily marketable and it's that much cheaper to make, then I'm guessing that's why it took so long. But we're at this perfect moment of like people understanding the art of whiskey in a whole nother way. So like that's one reason it took this long, and we've kind of hit this perfect moment. The other thing is, of course, the designation getting accepted, which you alluded to. We were one of the founding members of the American Single Malt Commission, where we kind of set the standards, our own standards for what it meant to be an American single malt, and proposed those as the legal definition. And as of last week, it was ratified. And so now American single malt is its own designation, just like bourbon.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That when I saw that news, I was like, yes. Because, I'm a big fan of American single malt. And quite honestly, I was burned by one particular bottle because, I love Beam. They put out a very trashy American single malt. And I was so upset at that, man.
How many people do we have listening? How scandalous can I get when it comes to me talking about other brands?
Hey, man, you let it go, man. Let it go.
I'll allude to to something. I saw an article written by someone who I don't recognize them having written about whiskey before, about producers being upset that now there's an American single malt definition. Don't get me wrong, like definitions can, like for Scotland, they're very bound by their tradition, but when we set to make the standards for American single malt, they're very loose. It needs to be a barley whiskey. It needs to be made by one distillery, and that is like so key. Single malt doesn't only mean single grain; it means single distillery. And half the whiskey brands these days don't even make their own juice. You can't do any mass aging, so you can't age in anything over 700 liters. We wanted to keep it like only keeping it artisanal. Other than that, it's pretty wide open. And so we saw an article that was like, creators are upset about this, and they used us as an example. And we're like, we're not upset about this. Like we helped make this happen.
Wow.
And I can only assume some of it is, sourced whiskeys. There was an American single malt that was released by a notorious source brand.
Mm-hmm.
That again, yeah, it was interesting to see a big brand release a single malt, put it at a similar price point as something as Westward, and taste the way that it did. I was like, damn.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know if we're talking about the same brand, but probably not. I don't know, because I don't know if they really source their stuff, but the one I'm talking about is just Claremont Steep, man. That thing was atrocious. It was atrocious, man.
I mean, as long as it doesn't get back to everyone else that I work with. I'm talking about Bullet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did taste that one, and I was not a fan of it either, man. And I think Jason's back, and Jason was. I think Jason was a fan of that one.
Ah.
So we found one person. We found one person.
actually owns.
Which one?
The Bullet single malt.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't my favorite single malt, but it wasn't terrible.
We were sitting here talking crap about you, Jason.
Good. That's the way it's supposed to work.
Nah, man. I was talking about Claremont Steep, man, and how that really it very much disappointed me. And then that coming out of Beam, man, it's yeah. And then Jonathan alluded to Bullet, and yeah, I wasn't a fan of that one either. But
I mean, here's what I'll say. I also, so for those of you who don't know who I am, I have several different things that I do for Westward. I run the single barrel program now. I'm head of education, and so I design all of our classes and train our people. And one thing I always start with when I'm talking about classes is there's no right way to enjoy anything. And I'll always lead with that. I have opinions for sure. If you like something, I'll never disparage it. There can be a right way to appreciate something. That can be a completely different thing. If you're picking something apart, if you're trying to understand the artistry behind it. And I use a story to kind of capture my point, which there was a guy who came in and bought a case of whiskey back in the day from us. And I was like, oh, awesome. Bought a whole case. He came back about a month later and was buying another case. And I was like, man, that's awesome. What are you using this for, if you don't mind me asking? And he was like, man, this makes the best damn Mountain Dew whiskey I've ever had in my life.
Mountain Dew whiskey?
And I was like, oh, and I shuddered. But then I was like, you know what? Coming from Westward, where one of the big things we talk about is it matters what you do on the front end. It's why we do a really nice brewer's yeast that we do a long brew. We source good barley, all two-row, all locally grown. So it's if I believe using a higher quality product elevates the end product, I do believe him. I bet it was the best Mountain Dew whiskey he's ever had. While I won't be doing the same thing.
And it just goes to show you, right? I mean, whiskey is for you to enjoy it how you want to enjoy it, right? If you want to put it with Coke, if you want to have it straight, if you want to have it over the rocks, or with Mountain Dew, I mean, hey, that's your prerogative. However you want to enjoy it, right? I mean, it kind of hurts my heart a little bit when
For sure.
when I hear about it being mixed with Mountain Dew. We have a bottle club here, and I think Jason, what was the one that was it? Was it George T. Stagg that they mixed with Mountain Dew?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
So people. So George T. Stagg 2023 is, there's a lot of people that say that's been the worst George T. Stagg that they've tasted, right? Yeah. So we have a club member that he had one, and he was just trying to get rid of it. So he's at a bottle club, and he's mixing it and giving it to people with Mountain Dew. And he's like, let's just get rid of this bottle, right? That's how he wanted to enjoy it, because he said it was terrible having it straight up. Which is crazy, but
it's fine. What is funny is, fun fact, that Mountain Dew was invented as a whiskey mixer.
Oh, it was?
It was.
I did not know
to limited results, I will say, but
as a whiskey
that's part of its origin story.
Oh wow, you learned something new, man. That's really cool. I did not know that. So you alluded to what you do at Westward, right? So can you give us a little bit more background on that? And also then a follow-up question. Man, how is it that you got over to Westward as well?
Oh, yeah. I'll kind of start with that because I feel like it's a good lead-in. So I've been with Westward for over 4 years now. But I've been in the beverage world for about 10 years. So my first gig, I was actually an assistant winemaker. So I came from the wine world, which is interesting because most people who work for Westward came from the brewing world. We're basically a whiskey brand built on brewers.
Okay.
But so I started as an assistant winemaker. I went into coffee roasting. I went to gin distilling, and then I circled back around. I figured out I like people more than I like machines. So now I just talk about it for a living, and get my hands dirty sometimes. But yeah, so my title, it changes constantly, but my title right now is Head of Whiskey Experiences and Private Sales Manager. Okay. But I run our single barrel program. I'm head of education. So the way that I like to pitch it is for Westward, they found out it was a good hang, and now they monetize it. So whether it's hosting VIPs or going out and doing media, doing more media stuff, or doing our single barrels, which has been kind of like my latest passion that I've been doing for coming up about a year now.
Nice, man. So you handle all the single barrels right now. Like anybody that wants to do a single barrel, they'll reach out to you and you'll help them out with that. Wow, man.
I don't want to diminish any work done with anyone in our barrel house, or we have salespeople in other states. But yeah, I've been working with our master blender Miles to put together like quite an amazing program as far as the offerings of single barrels, because for a long time, so many people have focused single barrel programs as being something that like, oh, you sell to a bar, or you sell to a liquor store. And usually what that means is like, oh, it's a variation single barrel that's particularly good of the original style, or maybe one of our main releases, something like our Pinot cask, or usually our stout cask. But there's this huge untapped market of, whiskey nerds all over the US, all over the world, who like want to have something that's more interesting, to have something that maybe is harder to explain, but it is great for that reason. Like, yeah. I just got a single barrel that is a Riesling finished Westward, where the Riesling was made as if it was a sherry cask, so with the mold layer and everything.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, getting to do and sell these projects of things that people are, like, super excited about. The very first barrel I ever sold, which was really cool, because if you guys have heard of Whiskey Bonded before,
yeah,
he just named his best single barrel of the year. It was the first barrel that I sold, so I was like, hell yeah, for Kitsap Whiskey Society. that was a Hungarian oak barrel.
Oh, nice.
And so it initially started as me calling in favors to get some more interesting things other than our stable picks. But now I've gotten to kind of like have a whole host of really interesting single barrel releases. I have a Bottle and Bond 9-year-old 10% rye that is releasing this month.
A 9-year-old 10% rye?
Yeah, so the only
American single malt?
I'm the only person who has a single barrel that is not a single malt. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're interested in what Westward is like, if it is a different grain profile, I have a malted rye Bottle and Bond that's releasing. I think it's live on the website right now.
Wow, that's awesome. And that's what I like about Westward. One of the things I like about Westward. One, I love like every Westward that I've tasted, I've really liked, right? But two, you guys are not like, obviously you have your core lineup, but then you're not afraid to experiment, right? I think the first one that I've tasted was maybe not the first one, but one of the ones that I really loved and I wasn't expecting too much from it was the stout cask finish. Yeah. And that one was really good. And normally I'm like on the fence about stout casks, like whiskeys. I'm like, I don't know. But that one was really good, man. I mean, yeah, it really was. And now you're talking about a malted rye. I'm not into ryes too much, but
neither
I do
am
like
but
malted
let me
ryes.
pitch you on it because
no, I do like malted ryes because I've tasted other malted ryes and I'm like, okay, it's pretty good.
Westward is such a rich whiskey because for those of you who haven't had Westward before, I've mentioned being an American single malt. So single grain, it's all local malted barley, all Pacific Northwest. But then we age in new barrels, so it's very much the same aging style as we do a low char and do like a bourbon aging. Granted, for a new barrel, it's a little older, but you're still getting that kind of like fresh barrel. You're getting that like nice sweet vanilla tone that you get on a new barrel whiskey, with that more like big round, sometimes more stone fruit stuff coming from a single malt. But from doing that, it means that our whiskey, while not saccharine sweet, is very rich. So to have a little bit of rye profile to Westward, I think is so fascinating because you have a little bit of levity where rye is normally known for this bright spice and this perfumey tone. That adding a little bit to our profile it's cool to have a whiskey from Westward that's like almost refreshing that I'd make like a highball out of or something.
Yeah, definitely. No, and it's different, man. And like I said, you guys always experiment, right? I like, because obviously I've been on your website and I've seen the different types of whiskeys that you guys put on there, and also the ones that I've seen in stores as well. So it's some good stuff, man. So I'm almost finished with my 412. So I'm about to hop over.
Me too. I'm almost finished with 412.
There you go. Jason, are you drinking the 412 right now, man? All right.
Yep.
Awesome.
I got just a bit left.
So we are in the twilight of these bottles, and that 412 as of today is completely gone.
Okay.
We had it come back for a second. We had one bottle.
Oh, wow.
And then for 17202, there are 5 bottles left.
5 bottles left. Damn. So you guys hear that now. I mean, if you want to get in on these, that's it. You got 5 bottles left of the 17202, which is the Cherry Sex Bomb.
Yeah.
And guys, both of these bottles are really freaking good. Obviously, I have a favorite. Jonathan has a favorite. Matt. Okay. So first off, if you guys don't know, which you should already know, Poor Decisions was the one that picked these 2 barrels, as Jonathan told us earlier. And Poor Decisions is Matt at Whiskey Wisdom, Troy and Laura from Baker Drinks, Sean at Echoes and Eternity Bourbon, Myron at Bourbon Drop, and Barrel Dave and myself. And unfortunately, I wasn't part of this one. I had some family issues when you guys actually did the tastings for this, like the live tastings. I did taste it afterwards when I came back, and I was on board with everybody. I'm like, yeah, we need to put these out because these two are freaking amazing. And yeah, it's been I want to say, not to toot our own horn, but it's probably my favorite Westward that I've tasted so far. I'm just saying. But you guys make really good stuff.
Thank you. I will say the remaining half barrels of these two barrels became a hot commodity there for a second. Both of them got scooped. 17202 just got scooped up by Colby from Kitsap Whiskey Society.
Nice.
And 412 Wild Wild Whiskey Club over in Washington also snagged that.
That's nice, man. So, have you always lived in Washington? Like, are you Washington born and
we're
bred?
Oregon based. Yeah.
Oh, Oregon based.
We're Oregon based.
But have you always been in Oregon then?
No, so I'm Pacific Northwest born and raised for sure.
Okay.
I've moved around. So I lived in Montana for a bit, things like that. But I was born in Tacoma,
Nice.
and so I grew up in Seattle, Tacoma, and then I moved to Portland, where I work for Westward now, about 6 years ago.
Nice, man. So always Pacific Northwest. That's
Rich, I want to address a question that I just thought come up, which is Rich G. Westward Milestone. Milestone number 1, I know is still available in some parts. I know it's kind of still around. Westward Edition 2 is like extinct. So Milestone 2, for those of you who don't know, so Westward started doing our Milestone project, which is our annual release. You mentioned us doing these experimental whiskeys, and one of the things that's so fun and why we get to take those risks where a lot of brands aren't is we're getting to work with our club. So we're the largest distillery run whiskey club. So we do like quarterly or monthly shipments for specialty releases. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're releasing these interesting, like our 2-malt program, or we do a single brewery series where, since we're paying attention to our yeast, we'll have a brewer come in and brew a famous beer and we'll distill it down into whiskey. Okay. Or different barrel finishes. So we just released our Oloroso cask. It was our first sherry cask finish. So our club is where we get to kind of take all these risks. But then we started doing something called our Milestone, which this year, or 2024, was our second year of doing it, where it's an annual Solera cask release. So for those of you who don't know what a Solera is, it's technically like an inverted pyramid of barrels. So you can slow proof from the top, and it auto blends between all of them. It's something taken from the sherry world, and now kind of used a lot more in the rum world and a little bit in the whiskey world.
Okay.
And you can be really hands-on about what barrels enter the Solera system. And it became kind of a prized thing of Miles each year will have a theme, and he pulls his favorite barrels throughout the entire barrel house and does a custom blend through the Solera system that he slow proofs weekly. So it became kind of like this pet project, annual release, definitely the most expensive thing that we released, retailing at $250. Edition 1 was really good, but Edition 2 kind of blew up in a way that even took us by surprise. It was the second time we ever saw our whiskey on the secondary market, and it sold a couple of times for $3,700 for a bottle, and we were like, "Oh man,
$3,700? That's crazy."
So it got that big. So Westward Edition Milestone 2 is gone, unfortunately, but.
Unless you want to buy a secondary for $3,700.
Yeah. Even those, like, it was selling consistently for at least $500, and I couldn't find any that wasn't sold out.
Oh wow!
So it's gone.
That's crazy, man. So, but you can still find the Milestone 1 at the distillery.
Milestone 1, I know that we have it. I don't know if it's out in the market as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, and I haven't been to your distillery, right? But could you tell us a little bit about your distillery? Like, when some obviously you guys have bourbon experiences, and you were talking about education, so I want to touch on that a little bit as well. Do you guys do like tastings and different things? Like, what do you guys do around education?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things I'm most passionate about. What I've kind of helmed at the distillery. One thing that I'm sure I'll kind of address this dinosaur. The whiskey market's kind of suffering in a big way right now. And one thing that is really interesting is Westward is doing really well. And it's because of the consumers and not suppliers. So, because everyone's a little bit afraid because of how the whiskey market's kind of turning a little bit. But our consumer side is like always been a focus in a way that confuses large brands. And not to say that we aren't becoming, a larger brand. So something like the club and our like consumer focus tends to be what is like driving so much of like why we can do these really cool things, because people want to drink them. And it's not just about going to bars and things like that. So at the distillery, one of the cool things about it being a single malt and having one distillery means that we'll do tours where we'll take people through the process of going grain to glass. So you'll get to go from our grain silo in through our brewing side and taste out of whatever our fermentation's at the time. We'll go through, depending on what day, you can drink out of running stills, where we have our 3,000 gallon copper pot still. Called it's named I don't know if it's public info, but it's called Whiskey Houston, and
Okay.
yeah. So we got a massive still, and if it's running, you can drink at it depending on where it's at in its cut.
Nice.
And then so we'll do different tastings. Some of them is like our club exclusive whiskeys. Some of them's our main lineup, which for those of you who don't know, our main lineup is our original. Our Pinot Noir cask, our stout cask, and our cask strengths. For us in Oregon, part of the main lineup is also our rum cask. But outside of Oregon, that's a little rarer to find our green label.
So is that just like a distillery exclusive, or just
usually
all around Oregon?
Our distillery exclusives will be whatever single barrel we kind of have running at the time. Right now, we have a Ducati collaboration for one of the Ducati dealerships called Motocorsa, as well as the Oregon Zoo, which all the proceeds go to the Oregon Zoo Foundation. And then shortly, because the zoo's almost out, I'll have that bottle and bond rye.
Oh, okay.
But then we also do like events pretty much weekly at this point. I do classes. I have people, so not all of them are going to be taught by me anymore, but I design classes, and I have 25 unique classes that are debuting this year. The next one is actually probably the one I'm most excited about, which is called Happy Accidents, which are projects that either happened by accident or were mistakes, or that didn't turn out how we expected, and how we turn those into new releases. So one of those is our Vienna Malt release, which Vienna Malt is prized in the brewing community for its like amber tones, this more brooding tone released in like fest beers, but not a lot of experimentation done in the single malt world. So we made happened because it was a wrong delivery from our maltster, and they spilled the entire silo, and they're like, it's meant for Widmer Brewing, and they're like, we'll give it to you same price, and we're like, absolutely. And so we ended up doing this whole release based around it, and so I have several different projects that like I get to go through the history of like how these formed into special releases. So that's kind of like a little bit of a glimpse. I do cocktail classes as well, but try and stay on the forefront of doing cool whiskey education.
That's cool, man. I really like that. And I love the name. Like, what is it? Happy Accidents or Whiskey
Happy
Accidents? That's awesome.
For those of you,
It's good.
Bob Ross fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned cocktails, and we got our cocktail connoisseur down here, which is
Your
Jason.
cocktail guy.
Oh yeah.
Fun fact: the whole reason that so the upcoming single barrel release, the Bottle and Bond Rye, happened because we have a high-end barware company in Portland called Bull and China. That I was like, let's pick a barrel from the ground up for cocktails. And so we did like a Sazerac riff on it, kind of alluding to the old school style New Orleans cocktails.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I designed our beverage program as far as our cocktails as well, which we do like a cocktail and old fashioned flight in our place.
That's really cool, man. Wow. So you talked about the Barrel Club. So can you tell us a little bit more about that? Is that just in person, like, or is there like an online type of Barrel Club as well?
We launched it nationally in 2022, I believe. So originally it got really big, and the only option was like to pick up or ship within Oregon. So our whiskey club essentially is what, especially here in Oregon, like we have our wine valley, and we know people have a lot of trauma when it comes to wine clubs. So we tried to make it the most approachable, easygoing club. So the way that it works is we do quarterly shipments, so 4 bottles a year is like our normal club, and we'll announce what it's going to be. Essentially, it doesn't cost to be in; you just get the bottles when they release, and we hold them all at the same price, which is $100 a bottle.
Okay.
So we ship nationally to about 36 states right now, but that is a moving target, as you guys know how liquor laws in the U.S. are wild.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are local, we theme an event, like a launch party for each one of them around like what we did. But we'll also have different perks. So like you get 15% off everything that's not whiskey if you're part of the club, including all of our events. And then right now, because we're starting to gain traction in a lot more states, we'll host different club events out in different states where we see pockets of our club members who are very active. So we'll come out to them, man, and bring maybe Master Blender Miles and do something out there.
That's cool, man. I mean, if you guys are ever in Florida, would love to have you. Would love to have you guys here in the Tampa area for one of our events here. That would be awesome.
Florida is a big market.
It is, man.
I will absolutely reach out to you. There's a good chance.
Yeah, definitely, man. That'll be really cool. We hold. So Jason and I are part of a bottle club. It's called the North Tampa Bottle Club, and we have a few events throughout the year. The one that we're planning right now is, the group's anniversary. So we're about to be in the second year, I believe, in June. It's going to be in the summer. They might move it, but as of right now, it's in June. So not a bad time to come to Florida, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, especially with Portland winter right now. Granted, I like the drowsy weather, but
dude, it was snowing here. Like, well, not here.
You guys too? Like, I saw it happen in New Orleans, but
it didn't snow here in Tampa, but because Jason and I are both here in the Tampa area, but it was snowing in North Florida. Like, I was getting shout out to Charles, Elul, Cheech at Whiskey Encore, and Keith P. Like, they all sent me like pictures of like snow and like their family members. Like, I think Keith was telling me that in Louisiana he got like almost 12 inches or something like that, which is crazy to think about. In Pensacola they got like 8 inches or something like that. Or
wild.
Like, it's crazy, man. Like, I would have never thought I would have ever said, oh crap, it snowed in Florida. So
it was bizarre.
It is, man. It's crazy, and it's cold as hell over here right now. So,
It's
and I
not
know
cold as hell.
it is cold as hell, man. I mean,
No,
Wait, how
it's
cold is
not.
it?
well, here's the thing, and that's what I was about to say.
No, just
It's
tell me-
cold. It's cold
Just
for a
tell me what it
Floridian.
is. Don't
cold
lead
for a
in.
Floridian. Well,
It's
right
43
now
right now, which for Florida is cold, but that's not cold
it
as
is
hell.
cold. It is cold
No.
as hell. Look,
I guess that
my
is-
phone
that
is
is kinda
telling
cold.
me freeze
No, it's
warning.
not.
Freeze warning.
Dude,
Look at that.
I did live in Montana where
Yeah.
I remember, for those of you who are in the Pacific Northwest, I think it was 2018, there was something they called Snowmageddon. And during that time I was in Montana, and I remember my parents sending me pictures of, like, look how hard it's snowing. And I sent them a video of me walking outside and my mustache freezing solid in real time. Because it was just like hitting negative 30 degrees while I was out and about.
Wow, man. No, and to tell you the truth, like I'm from I'm from Boston originally. I've been living here in Florida already. I already have the Florida blood, right? Because I've been here, I think, like 18 years already. But I grew up in Boston, right? So I know the cold. I hate the snow because I had to shovel it when I was younger, and I freaking hate doing that. But so I know that when I lived there, I was like, oh, I was one of those people that's like, what? You guys in Florida got like 50 degrees weathers and you guys are wearing like the little puffy coats. Like, what's wrong with you guys? That's like t-shirt weather here. And now I won't say I'm a puffy coat guy, but I'm definitely covering up in the high 40s, let's say. So it is what it is, man. So, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Is American Single Malt your favorite type of whiskey?
It is.
Okay.
Westward is my favorite type of whiskey. I definitely lucked out. As far as I genuinely believe Westward is making the best juice. So if I'm drinking for enjoyment, so I drink everything. Being the education guy, it's like I want to make sure I'm well versed in basically every style of whiskey that exists. I got room to grow, definitely, but I check out a lot of whiskey. If I'm drinking for enjoyment, is going to be different than if I'm drinking to learn.
Okay.
If I'm drinking for enjoyment, it's going to be Westward, or it's going to be Irish whiskey.
Okay. Okay. So it's a Friday night. You get home, or it doesn't even have to be Friday. You get home, and you had a hard day, and you just need a whiskey, man. What do you normally reach for? And by the way, we know you work for Westward. You don't have to say Westward.
I mean, it is Westward. That's the nerdy, dumb thing about it.
Okay, I mean, which is cool.
But so, if I have to answer something that's not Westward,
I want both answers. I want to know
the truth is it's gonna be Westward.
Okay.
The thing that I'm pouring that has an eternal spot on my cart is the Spot series from Ireland.
Which one is that one?
The Spot series, so like green spot.
Oh, okay.
They got blue spot and red spot, gold spot.
Okay.
All the fun stuff. Green spot, as far as like bang for your buck whiskey. I think it changes state to state, but it's usually between $35 to $50. Is in that price point easily the best whiskey that you can get for that.
Yeah.
So if I'm drinking for enjoyment, if I'm drinking for like things that I like that are interesting, where I'm like wanting to be curious about it, is usually Japanese whiskey, or kind of the burgeoning markets of different single malts right now. The other, I'll be more broad than the other American single malts. I think American single malt is just getting started, man. Like now that we have over 100 distilleries who are doing their thing, but it's still a little bit big fish, small waters. I think what's cool about it is I had someone who's also in whiskey education be like, okay, how do you see American single malt going the way of Scotland, where it's like regions define different styles? But I think it's going more so the way of winemakers, where it's like, here is my here's my take on this thing. And so far, that's what we're seeing. You know, Westward is completely different than something like even another Oregon brand, McCarthy's, who's another old school American single malt. They basically make Scotch in the U.S., and that's just like cool. Very different approach than what we do. And Westland started the same way over in Seattle. And now they've become this cool nerdy thing as well, where they're doing something like Pacific Northwest peated whiskeys. So we're seeing people take these big swings. Of course, now now that it's a burgeoning market, we're starting to see the big guys like Jack and Beam take swings at it. And I'm excited to see that too, because I like people comparing us because big fish, small waters is sometimes fun, but at the end of the day, like we want people to compare any whiskey to Westward because we think it's damn good.
And I like that, and I like how well, first off, yes, it is damn good, but I like how you put that. Like, instead of saying that it's about the different regions or states or whatever, it's about your take on it, and that's actually pretty cool, man. Because you're right. Like Westland has a bit of a different taste. Obviously, we were talking about like Claremont Steep, the Bullet one. You mentioned
Virginia
Jack
Distilling
Daniels
being a big one if we want to go more east. Even Balcones was a big one. Now they're doing a lot of different things, but Balcones in Texas was definitely a big.
So are they doing? So, and I know they have the Texas single malt, right? But is that basically a American single malt? I don't know.
It is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Which I mean, like that one.
Granted, now if they're not calling it American single malt, that definitely gives them the ability to call it something, like to change something and not let anyone know. A little bit of inside baseball. Another stipulation in the single malt world is that American single malt must be aged in oak containers. We don't say it needs to be used or new. The way that Westward does it is we have contact with new, because that's just like the American taste. But our master blender fought for the idea of it shouldn't even say oak barrels; it should say wood barrels. Granted, we're not a big fan of like staving and things like that. But we have done really interesting experiments with other styles of wood. We did a release that, of course, we did a what is it called? It's a Brazilian teak wood.
Brazilian teak wood.
It tastes like cinnamon.
Is it the Amburana, that one?
Amburana, thank you.
Okay.
Nice.
I know Amburana, man. I hate Amburana. So.
Yeah. We had did an Amburana experiment, but because it's not oak, if it just touched Amburana, it couldn't be considered American. Probably our most interesting one, we did an acacia wood, which, to our knowledge, there hasn't been a lot of if any whiskey aged in acacia wood, and we worked with a cooperage who mainly works with wineries, and we found out that like acacia wood, for some reason, just makes whiskey almost pitch black. And so Westward, that still tastes like normal Westward, just more like herbal, but it was like Coca-Cola dark. It was super weird.
Oh, wow. And are you able to see all of these like different experiments, or is this just like ones that are like long and gone, and if you didn't get them at that point, you probably don't even have a chance?
For the most part, like Westward, we try not to get too romantic in that if you have whiskey, it's meant to be shared and drank, and like we don't hold anything back like we used to. So I see everything that's in progress, but for the most part, we keep a store bin, like a vault of our open special releases, but once those are gone, it's basically gone.
Okay.
I saw actually. Okay, 4 Leaf Whiskey just put out a question that is, a perfect question when I'm talking about experimenting with different woods. They're like, can you just do it as a finish? Absolutely. That has been our workaround. Is that I mean, we are still doing primary aging in our new American white oak, but then we will do our secondary aging, and it absolutely still is counted as American single malt.
Okay. And Matt asked the West a question earlier as well. He wanted to know if you guys will ever release a hazmat, or is it still best taste?
Such a good question. Okay, so Oregon. So for those of you who don't know, when you're aging whiskey, you don't environment control it. Another way that whiskey is adapting to where it's being made. So you let it feel humidity, you let it feel heat and cold. Oregon's great because we feel all the seasons. So we have hot, dry summers and we have cold, wet winters. So we have a nice ebb and flow rather than just pulling the whole time. We kind of have this, yin and yang vibe. But so we do go up in proof in our aging process. Mm-hmm. I have had hazmat Westward.
Okay.
Right now, it is not for sale. It is granted more experimental barrels that have gotten there. Mm-hmm. That being said, I mentioned my new barrels that I just became responsible for. One of them being the Riesling. One of them is not quite hazmat, but it's so close. I actually did.
What is it like 139 point something?
It's 139.15.
Wow!
And so it's so funny because as soon as I did a more alcohol is a much harder thing to calculate than people realize it is. So we have our handheld machines that we can use to get within usually about a point. But we have like a full machine that is the only thing recognized by the TTB for being like how you measure alcohol levels. And so normally when we're putting together single barrels, we'll just use the handheld guy until it's like time to bottle. And once I saw my label was at 139.13, wow. I think they had it at, I was like, I have to go do an official test on this because I was like, if this is hazmat, I could sell this right now.
Oh, I know, hell yeah, man.
Yeah. So the question, like the answer to the question is soon. I have a barrel that is about to be hazmat that I would love to sell to whoever wants it.
Nice, man. That's gonna be amazing, and that will sell out right away. Like whoever gets that barrel, man, like those bottles will sell out right away, man.
And being, it's decently old, not to be like I said, Westward doesn't do a lot of age statements. We'll put our age on stuff if it's a single barrel because that's just how old the barrel is. But I think slapping a age statement on something to try and equate quality that's old news, and it doesn't work. It's just not true. Age does not equal quality. It's about ebb and flow and where you're making it, and it's about balance between that distillate and what you put in barrel. Because at the end of the day, if you overage, like you can overage something the same way you underage it, and then you're just paying for a really, really expensive whiskey that tastes like sawdust.
So there's no age minimum then for the. There's no minimum age.
Oh, I think I'd have to look into it. There are different. Of course, there's different standards in the U.S. of like straight whiskey. Actually, a good example of this. I pulled this out just in case I needed to use it as an example. This is barrel number 2 of Westward. Looked very, very different.
Yeah, wow.
We call this Compass label. We've been through 3 different brandings now, and we only sold 375s. Because when we first started, basically only a barrel would be ready at a time. So this is barrel number 2.
Wow, man! It almost looks like and I'm sorry to say this, but it almost like what is it? What's that Australian one? Starward?
Starward? No, Starward's good pals of us. No worries. We love Starward.
It kind of looks so like funny
this naming convention too, because we got Westland, we got Starward. So. This is from way back when. But notice on it, let's see how close I can get. It says Oregon Straight. So we were still messing around with being part of what it meant to be an American single malt, and that didn't mean anything to anyone. So calling this straight at least let people know that it was hitting this minimum age requirement.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'd have to look if there was any difference between what was ratified and the initial pitch, but I believe there is an age minimum.
Okay. But like you said, I mean, the age really doesn't make it better or worse, right? I mean, a lot of people, you said, so for these two,
you can definitely underage something. I think people had a knee-jerk reaction to when people first started making, artisanal small batch stuff. A lot of people sold it way too young. Some of it because of ignorance, some of it because they needed to put something out the door. And it happened naturally. The Scotch industry is like, if you're looking for balance, below 41 degrees Fahrenheit, things sit on the inside of the barrel. I talk about soaking into the grains when it's warm. So below 41 degrees Fahrenheit, if you're looking at Scotland, it's cold, it's wet. It's not really soaking into the grains of the wood, and they're using used barrels, so it just takes a whole lot longer to hit that same balance. So you can have a balanced whiskey at like 35 years, but you age in the American South or like India in a new barrel, and even just like 10 years, you're going to just basically have an oak bomb that just not worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
It happened because of marketing too, because you spent more money on the things that you put more time into, so you want people to believe it's the best. We just wanted to distance ourselves from that, not only because it's a marketing thing, but truth be told, where you can approach it in two different ways, which is my love for the beverage industry, and I wanted to get into this a little earlier. And for people who have heard me talk before, I think I say it in every. I try and not be a canned person who just has the same talking points. But one thing that I love is that the beverage industry is a grounding of science, and then everything on top of that is like art and expression and experimentation. So you're having to. It's my favorite industry because of that. It's like everyone who works on the distillery, it's like if they have a degree, it's like, oh, what's your degree in? It's either like food science and biology or it's a liberal arts degree. It's like forcing these two very opposite people to work together in this beautiful way. And even though our master blender is like, he's as certified as you can get as far as being a distiller. He went to brewing school. He's got all types of degrees in distilling, and he still would probably consider himself a musician before a scientist. So like where we're striking that the flavor of what Westward is in the depth of character from our own mingling and blending process. So we're not trying to look at this age minimum as being like, okay, here's our consistency. What we're doing is our blends at this point are about 40 barrels. So we'll nose about 100 barrels that we'll be tasting everything in our barrel house, usually above 3 years or 2 to 3 years, and start taking notes. And then by the time it's reached this point where we're like, okay, we think these 100 might be ready, and we will we'll nose about 100, and nosing them will usually eliminate about 20, and then we'll drink about 80, and then we'll narrow down to portions of about 40 barrels for our blend. And that's how we'll strike consistency, but not only consistency, just the depth of our character. Because I work in single barrels now, and it's some of my favorite work ever. But I do very, very little work when it comes to like selling people things that aren't already picked to be sold for single barrels. And that's because single barrels are the anomaly. It is really interesting to see entire companies that base their model around being single barrels. Granted, I just showed Westward when it was only single barrels. This is just because that was ready, like whatever was ready at the time. But an entire process where all they do is focus on single barrels. The reason why I have selected the barrels that I represent doing single barrel sales is because those were the anomalies in an entire barrel house of 7,000 barrels. those were the ones that were balanced and amazing character on their own. Usually a lot of depth of character of whiskey comes from the artistic process of, marrying these barrels together.
Nice, man. So do you actually have a hand then, like not just the master distiller in like blending all of this, but you actually have a hand in actually the taste that comes out of these whiskeys before you guys think that it's ready, right?
Yeah. So we have a blending team, and so those will, be everyone who goes through and tastes all of those. And one thing that is interesting is, Miles has a good way of knowing. He understands the taste profile of everyone on the team as well, kind of how they taste and where they lean toward. And we'll always have the previous batch. But what is really fascinating about it is it's not just about consistency. If they have two batches that they know that they can get closer, but they just love the taste of the current batch, then they might just go with that. And granted, it's going to be very minuscule. Those are, people who their whole job is tasting whiskey, and they're the people that can notice the small difference. But to deny it and deny quality to go to consistency is just not what it's about.
Yeah. No, and you're at that point it kind of cheats the customer,
Yep.
So what are you drinking right now? Are you on the 17202?
Yes, I am on 17202. And I love this whiskey.
So I do like it, man. I mean, you definitely get those cherry notes, and then you're getting the spice, right?
Yeah.
So it is really good. So right now, I'm on the mixture. I mix both of them together. And
okay, what's so funny is we've talked about this very little with the Poor Decisions group, but one of the things that we talked about is they mixed the two together in the tasting, and they're like, okay, can we just tell people to blend these two bottles together?
And it tastes good, man. I mean, I have to say, I still stay true to my bottle 412, right?
And me with my 17202.
Okay. But the blend is really good as well. It's really freaking good. That's what I'm drinking.
Let me give some more info as well. So, 17202, which is the one that's left for the people at home, is 127.76 proof as well.
And you said that was 7.5 years, right? Something like that? I
believe so, yeah.
Okay, cool. So, and thank you for, I got your gift, and it was awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's really cool, man. The Cherry Sex Bomb it has that, obviously, that great taste that Westward puts out, but it is so, the name is so freaking, it definitely names it correctly, right? Mm-hmm. Because you are getting the cherries, you are getting the barley, obviously, the malt, but then you're getting that bomb, right?
I remember the cherry tone, and drinking it now, I was like, I remember why we call it Sex Bomb. Is it's this? It's not only cherry, it's velvety, sultry, and it's just big.
It's good, man. I mean, I will say that at the beginning I was a little thrown off when we had the samples. I was a little thrown off because obviously I didn't do the tastings with you guys. I did it on my own, and then obviously I let everybody know what I thought as well. But I did the tastings, and usually what I do with the samples is that I take half, right? Then I went back to it. Well, right from the beginning, 412 was my jam, right? But then I went back to each one, and I was like, you know what? This 17202 is really freaking good too.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, wow. And I didn't get that, maybe because I was so locked in on the other one. But when I went back to it, I was like, okay, this is really good as well. So yeah, you guys, I mean, I'm just saying, scoop those bottles up, because once they're gone, they're not gone because you guys sold the other half of the barrels, but you guys can definitely start getting some of these barrels right now. Yeah, man, this is good, man. So, all right, and I know your time is limited, right? I know we're getting down to the last wire of it. But somebody asked a question earlier. I think it was Matt that he asked, is there any types of malt or barley that's easier to work with, or hard, or more difficult to work with? Are there different types of malts and barleys that you guys like versus other ones? Could you give us a little bit of info on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those of you who don't know why single malt was always the original, like white barley was always the original ingredient to whiskey, it's like nature's little sugar packets. There's a shell, there's all the starches on the inside. There's also there's an enzyme that is unique to barley that causes the conversion of complex sugars to simple sugars. Fancy way of saying you can like harvest sugar out of it without really having to jump through too many hoops. So it's why up until recent history you'd have to have whiskey that has a certain percentage of barley in it, because that's how you would kickstart that sugar conversion. Now we've isolated the enzyme, and if you see things like 100% corn whiskeys, that's happening because you dump a bunch of normally barley enzyme into the mash to get that started. So it's basically perfect for this brewing process. Even though shells act as a way of like being a filter for the bottom. So it's like it makes it easy to work with compared to some other grains as well. So we only have to use what's called a roller mill rather than a plate or hammer mill. So a roller mill will just crack that barley open, since we just need to get through that shell. Versus like a lot of bourbon distilleries will have to work with a plate or a hammer mill, which is just crushing, creating a lot of sediment, creating a lot of dust, and then they work with that fine powder. Rye in particular, so we've worked some with rye, and it becomes this basically gelatinous oatmeal that makes it really difficult to work with in a lot of people's systems. And so rye is particularly actually kind of difficult to work with. But when we're talking about barley, there's absolutely different barleys. So not only down to, we mentioned Vienna malt earlier, that's really just kilning it differently. So a little darker. We've used, you can use chocolate malts as well, which happens when you kiln it very, very dark. If you've ever heard of chocolate malt, it's not actually any chocolate involved. It's just the level of kilning of the malt itself.
Okay.
But there's also different strains. So Oregon is really cool because, the brewing scene here is huge. Our water is so good that you can replicate any style of beer. So at a lot of our colleges, our agricultural programs focus on yeast and focus on barley and malts. So we have barleys that are specifically designed in Oregon, something like Full Pint, that we have used that is just a different strain of barley. We originally started with something called Pale Northwest barley. We now use something called Odyssey malt, which is fantastic. So like you can get different strains that have been bred for different purposes, very similar. Like I do a joke when I'm talking about yeast on the tour, which is like, we use brewer's yeast, and most people have kind of lost the narrative that to have whiskey, you first must have beer. The same way that brandy is distilled wine, which is then aged, whiskey is distilled beer, which is then aged. And the only reason why we lost that narrative is because you can breed yeast the same way you can breed dogs. And my joke is always like, which would be an insane sentence if I didn't explain myself, which is that like you can breed in desirable features and breed out undesirable. So like for whiskey, they made things like distillers, or not just whiskey, but they made distillers yeast or turbo yeast or dry yeast, which is like brews at a super high alcohol content extremely quickly. The problem with that is the initial product is not anything close to a drinkable beer. So we kind of naturally lost that narrative, because if people were to advertise the fact that they're making beer, the next question is like, oh, how is it? And most distilleries are making, pretty subpar beer. But the same is true for barley, in that like these different strains have these different qualities. Granted, most of them I saw a thing someone said like heirloom strains, and there's an artistry to it of like having these single strains. We did another thing within our club is called our Element series, where our first one we used local oak with so Garyana oak. We used grain designed in Oregon, grown in Oregon. We also have an upcoming one that's alderwood smoked malt. It will be our first smoked product. That's the same part of that Element series. So the good part about it is you can kind of tap into the nerdiness of it. Some of them are very different though. So when I first started, I'm keeping an eye on it. But when I first started, there's a project where we used this primordial malt. I think it's called. What is it called? It's called
primordial malt.
Like, I think it's an Egyptian malt, huskless black.
Wow. And that's the thing, man. Like, I need to get up on my malt and and barley game, because like you're talking about all these like different different strains, types, and I'm just like, what?
It goes as deep as you want it to. Usually, most like a lot of whiskey nerds will go deep into different grains, or go deep into different barrels. People forget about yeast. You can do the same thing there. So it's like, yeah, it's a deep well.
So William asked,
Obsidian malt. Sorry, I remember. Obsidian malt.
Huh. Okay. Now that chocolate one sounds really good, by the way. William Hall said about, have you guys thought about setting up a rick house or aging on the East Coast, where you can? We
looked into this for the Element series, actually.
Okay.
One of the things we wanted to do is aging in these different conditions. We found it's actually really difficult to age in different places, because places must have an active distilling license to age whiskey, which is like,
oh, really?
Such a disappointment.
Okay.
So we have worked with other distilleries where we'll do cask exchanges, but it does limit how cool we can get on that front for sure. Unfortunately.
Damn red tape.
Yeah. Red tape, you said, huh?
I see a really good question, which is peated American single malt incoming. So I know there has been some experimentation with some peating in the American single malt game. Westward has never done it. And the alderwood smoked isn't even peated. It's going to have, alder is a very Oregon thing. That being said, I will say, if you in 2025 is probably my most excited I've been about a lineup of our club whiskeys, and a very small release is going to happen of a peated Westward. So,
okay,
yeah,
nice. That's going to be interesting, man. Hopefully, we see that either on the website or here. That would be awesome. So Torp says if you guys need room, he has some room in his garage.
Do you have a distilling license?
Yeah. I'm sure he could get one. You ever see that? What's his name? Ron from Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
You ever see that? Where he's like, "Oh, here's my permit," and it's like, "This just says you can do whatever you want."
Exactly.
There you go. Oh, man. So, all right. So, anything you gave us a bunch of knowledge, Jonathan, and thank you so much, man. This is amazing, man. It's really great to have you on, and we would love to have you on again in a couple of months. See what has changed, see what new stuff is coming out. But
now that American Single Malt has its name, I'd love to
man
touch base, see where it goes.
Is there anything else that you're like very much, I want to say, excited about that's coming out now in 2025, or that you guys are currently gonna do in 2025? That you can share. I can share.
Yeah, that's always actually the. I'm treading on thin ice by revealing the peated thing. I'm most excited to keep doing single barrels. I think getting to work with the team that I have and the people I get to sell them to are like the people that are most excited for cool whiskey. It reminds me of like. This is such a weird comparison, but I once I was giving blood, and I asked the nurse, I was like, "What's your favorite part about what you do?" And they're like, "Everyone who I have to interact with has to be the most healthy." So it's like the people that I interact with in the whiskey world are the people that are the most excited, the people that are like have this basis of knowledge already. Don't get me wrong, like I love bringing knowledge to people, and that's what I do, but having people that have a semblance of excitement about the weird things that I'm doing, I'm really excited about. So, I don't know. It's not guaranteed, and it hasn't taken hold yet. But I have a fermentation project that I think will be coming up, which is I'm pretty obsessed with koji and fermentations. I love shochu and Japanese whiskey. And that's usually what I'm drinking when it comes to, like I said, learning. We have, and so I am messing around with possible koji fermentation in Westward. That, granted, will probably be years away if it does get off the ground, but it's something that I'm super excited about.
That's awesome, man. I mean, definitely interested in those. Plus the peated one, You guys have some good stuff coming out.
People have been asking years about Westward doing peated, and I had to keep my mouth shut for so long.
Carlos and I don't like peated at all.
Yeah, just be like, never say never, or it will never be like Westward's main thing. But okay, this is cool. Yeah, I don't know if this is too much info.
It's never too
one of my
much
favorite things we ever did. I have like probably we did a Sauterne cask. Does anyone know what Sauterne is?
So I've seen it, but I don't know what it is. Okay, can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So Sauterne is a white French dessert wine. So it's in the same field as doing these, these fortified wine finishes, like a port, like a sherry. We have a Tokaji coming out, which will be really interesting. Hungarian. But Sauterne is just some of the most sought after barrels within the whiskey world right now, because they are just beautiful. And one of the cool things I like working with Westward with is that like a lot of the time we won't buy barrels if we're not working with the producers of who used them before. We want to believe in the product that went into them as well. That's a big thing for sherry, because right now the demand for sherry finished whiskeys is bigger than sherry. So a lot of them, they'll just like dump sherry into it and dump it out and sell it. So we want to make sure we're working with artists that we love. And so it's one of the reasons why Miles would always go to Whiskey Live Paris, is because he just automatically makes it his goal to go make friends with people that we can get barrels from. And so we did that Sauterne cask, and it was like one of my favorite things we ever did. And now, as of 2024, we have a direct connect that Sauterne cask is going to be something that is going to be a lot more sustainable for us. So I'm excited about it.
Nice, man. That's awesome. So you keep talking about the sherry one, man. I mean, is that one out now?
It is. It is exclusive to the club, so if people sign up, they can order it.
Okay.
Like I said, club is it's free to be in, so you can always skip releases without any punishment or anything like that, as long as you're paying attention. The sherry cask is still around for right now. It's an Oloroso cask. It is probably the most drinkable club release we've had in a very, very long time. But yeah, that's the most recent. And for those of you who are interested in club stuff, our next one is going to be mid-February. So it's coming up. And it's going to be our single brewery series. So we are doing there's a brewery out here in Oregon called Fort George, who is very much prized for their dark beers. And one of their very famous ones called Matryoshka, which means Russian nesting doll. That they do an annual release of. We're doing a big high proof Fort George stout whiskey, so should be great.
Wow, man, that sounds pretty good, man. I told you, man, that stout one that I had, and I don't know if it was like the regular release that you guys usually have, or if it was like a special one that you guys did. But it was really freaking good, dude. And like I said, I normally don't like the stout finish ones.
Yeah.
Right. But that was really good, dude.
Yeah, stout cask for a long time. Our stout cask is what I was drinking for comfort. So it's like my daily driver, like you mentioned, coming home on a Friday night drinking. It was always our stout cask. There are ones that I may like better, but like proof in the pudding, I drink a lot more stout cask than probably any other of our whiskeys.
Oh, okay. Any particular one, or all Westward? Or any particular one?
So I actually need more education. I've only ever had a Jameson stout, which is just not not what I'm going for. As much as I love Irish whiskey, I don't really for the most part I don't think there's really bad Irish whiskey, but Jameson is just not my thing. Yeah. Which is weird because so many other brands that distill in Middleton, I don't know what they're doing. Like, it's made the same place that Redbreast is, and I love Redbreast, so.
Yeah, and the spots, man, like you mentioned
earlier. And the spots.
Yeah.
I love the spots.
I mean, I actually do like the Jameson stout one. I think I have one here still. And that actually is a good one.
So different.
So, you know what, man? Like, it would be awesome, and it might be a little too soon, but I'll reach out to you about this. Jason and I last year did a blind taste-off of Irish whiskeys for around St. Patrick's Day. So it'd be great to have you back on, man, since you are an Irish whiskey guy as well.
Yeah,
so I'm just saying.
Let me know. There's some outside of Westward, the things I'm most excited about in the whiskey world is Irish whiskey, because not only do I enjoy it, but Ireland invented whiskey, and for a long time they were held down. Mm-hmm. They had a couple of distilleries, and now they're having this huge renaissance that is long overdue. And so there's a lot of cool stuff coming out of Ireland that I'm just stoked for.
Redbreast 12 PX, one of my favorite Irish whiskeys.
So good.
Yeah, so good.
If you haven't had any Method and Madness, also people really taking swings at experimental whiskeys. They're a fun one.
I also heard, is it Waterford or Watershed? Waterford, I think it is. I don't know, but I heard about an Irish whiskey like Waterford. I haven't had it yet, but people were saying that it's really good. Four Leaf Whiskey was on here earlier. I don't know if she's still here, but she is definitely the Irish whiskey go-to. Torup. It is Waterford. But Torup just said Natterjack as well. Have you had Natterjack?
Yeah, Natterjack.
Yes, the Natterjack is very good.
It really is good. I love the Castrolf one, man. That is awesome.
Are you guys mostly... I find that a lot of the whiskey groups that I interact with in the U.S. are mainly bourbon people. Are you mainly bourbon?
No.
So both of us, we like all types of whiskeys, right? Jason likes a lot of rye that I don't.
Yeah.
But that's
way out.
Yeah, we like all types of whiskeys, right? Scotch, we're big Scotch guys as well. Irish whiskeys. I have a few of them. Jason has a few of them.
Japanese.
Yeah, Japanese as well. So yeah,
Japanese is doing some fun stuff.
yeah.
Now I go outside of whiskey too, so I get into mezcals, tequilas, rums. Yeah, I like all.
There's
the
some. I don't know when it will be released. I thought it might be released soon, but it might. We'll see. But we have some mezcal Westward that is. Pretty nuts.
That's always a.
Yeah, I think that's where I think that's where I throw in my hat, man. I'm like, the whiskeys finished in like tequila or mezcals are not. They don't go with my profile. Jason, do they go with yours?
I haven't found a lot. Now I love tequila, finished in a bourbon barrel.
Oh yeah,
but it
those
doesn't
are good.
Seem to work the other way around, and it's not that it can't. I haven't found anybody who's done it well yet.
Listen, as you already talked about Stout Cask, I definitely, I believe in what I'm doing at Westward. I have a good feeling that we can convince people of things that they,
I'm always happy to try it. I just haven't found one.
I don't know when it will release, but I'll reach out to me if you're. Normally the barrel house is kind of closed off to the public, but if you want to, I'll gladly sling a in progress mezcal finish to you to see what you think.
Yeah, and for awesome, stout finish, Carlos, you tried that Staves and Grain I have, right? That experimental series.
Yeah,
that was a pretty
really
good stout finish.
Yeah. But we've tried. I think we were at the same bottle share, man. Like, because you've tried the Westward stout finish one as well.
Oh yeah,
and it's really good.
It's fantastic.
Right?
Yeah.
But again, I don't remember if that was like the regular offerings or if it was like a special one.
I think that was.
I'm gonna guess it probably was. There are very few. We I forgot what we tried in the Poor Decisions. If the bakers are still on here, maybe they will sound out. If they are still on here, it's good to. Hi guys. I remember this initial pick. We were like, we should do original as like the stable thing before we got too experimental of being like, let's try these different weird stout casks. Let's try these. Yeah. We have tons of swings, but yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I want to try definitely. I'm gonna check out the Barrel Club, man, because
yeah, please do.
Yeah, for sure.
That definitely sounds interesting, man.
Before I leave as well, here's what I'll do. I want to post in the chat. Let's see if I can. I want to. Like we said, these Poor Decisions are amazing. There's 5 bottles left of one of the bottles, so I want to link that, but also as of today, that one that I mentioned, which is the Bottle and Bond Rye. Okay. I can put that on here as well.
Nice. So that's already on your website.
I made it live today, so it's ready to go.
Oh, nice. There you go, guys. So if you really are, if you're interested in that malted rye, which sounds amazing, because I've tasted some malted ryes before, and you guys know I'm not into ryes, but that malted rye is really good. Stop shaking your head, Jason.
Where's the shirt, Carlos? That's all I'm saying. Where's the shirt?
I know. I got to make that shirt. So, Jonathan, we usually say, I always say I'm not a rye guy, but then I put a but after it. I'm like, I'm not a rye guy, but ... So they're saying I should make a shirt off of that.
I'm not a rye guy, but...
Yeah, I'm not a rye guy, but I do like this rye. And that's usually what I said. That's usually my my thing. But yes, I do like the malted ryes that I've tasted in the past. So I'm sure this is gonna be some good stuff. So definitely, guys, go and check out the Westward website and check out that malted rye, because that sounds amazing.
I'm having trouble posting on the chat. That being said, it should be live if you go to Westward Whiskey. Select our whiskey selection.
Yeah, I can't post on the chat either, but let me see if I can pull it up. I'll put it in the YouTube.
I could try to
Stream
put
here.
it up right now.
Yeah, you got
So,
something turned off, Carlos. Neither of us can post in the regular chat. In the
Man,
Fine.
that's what
It's
I'm.
not hard to find. Definitely snag 17202. Like, it may not be Carlos's, but it's my favorite of these two now.
William Hall for the win. He's got it.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, William.
Thank you.
I was trying to look for it, and I'm like, crap. Want to put it on there before Jonathan leaves. Nah, man, but yeah, 17202. There's only 5 bottles left, guys. So go and check that out. Really good bourbon. I mean, bourbon. Really good American single malt.
You did not.
I know, right?
It's okay.
Wow.
Very good American single malt. Sorry, I was reading something over here. And a really good pick, guys. I mean, like you guys heard, it's Jonathan's favorite. And it's not just Jonathan's favorite, but in the chat that we have going on for Poor Decisions, like a lot of us are going more for the 17202. I stand true for the 412, but I will say that the 17202 is really freaking good. It is just like it says. It is.
William sounded out that I think right now the rye is Oregon exclusive on the malted rye.
That's
so
nice.
I'll just see. So right now, Half Barrel was released to Oregon. So hopefully, we'll be having the other Half Barrel go out to the distributor. I'll let people know there's interest.
Yeah, man, definitely let them know, because there's definitely a few people that were on here that were like, man, that sounds interesting. I'd be in for that. So yeah, there's definitely interest on that one.
Anyone who wants to have a bottle, since I teased you guys, if you reach out to me, I can figure something out.
And where can they reach out to you?
I'm Jonathan at westwardwhiskey.com, which is JONATHAN. Carlos, you have my contact.
Yes.
So if anyone is interested, just let me know.
Very cool. Thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. And I just put it there in the chat. Let me know if that's correct. Jonathan at westwardwhiskey.com.
Should take a sec.
I love how this one is called, man. The Bull in China, bottled in bond.
That's the so it's a really cool barware company. So we did a specialty kit for it, where it was like less than wholesale. You could get like full copper cocktail kits. Yep, that is my contact info.
Right.
Anyone who's interested, please reach out. I'll find a way to make magic happen.
All right, there you go. Well, Jonathan, we appreciate you getting on, man. It was a great time talking with you, man. And yeah, we need to have you back on for. We might send you. I got some new stuff for our Irish whiskey blind, so I might send you some samples, man, and we might have you on as a special guest. So
yeah, you just let me know, man. I'd love to participate.
All right, awesome, man. That'll be great. Thanks so much, man. We appreciate you.
Appreciate
Cheers,
you,
guys.
Man. Cheers. Yeah, man. Jonathan's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Guys, and Jason, I gotta take this over your house, man. So Jonathan sent me a bottle of the 17202, so that was awesome of him. And it was better than what I remembered, quite honestly. So I gotta take it over your house. And this mix, dude, is really freaking good.
That's really what I'm excited to try.
The mix, because you get the cherry and the chocolate. It is like a freaking I don't know. It's like Valentine's Day, man.
Well, you're supposed to be over here Saturday. For
There
anybody
you go,
in the
man.
area, we're doing whiskey and poker night over here at Whiskey Therapy Palace here on Saturday. So
there we go, man. Yeah, I'm gonna go over. I'll take that over. What's up, Derek? How you doing, man? Good to have you on, man. Thanks for getting on. Man, we were having so many issues at the beginning that I didn't even get to like cheers everybody or say what's up to everybody.
It's been a mess.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. And then Jonathan was like in the background, so I had to bring him on, and he only had he actually stayed on for a lot longer because he told me that he only had an hour allotted for us. So I appreciate Jonathan. Very cool dude, very awesome, and he definitely worked it out with us. But I don't know. I didn't talk to you about it. I was gonna say I don't know if I talked to you about it, but I didn't talk to you about it. But another thing that I wanted to do today, man, was get your thoughts on this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we're starting now 2025, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I put out my video for what is some of the best whiskeys of 2024, at least for my palate, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I saw this. So I subscribe to what's it called? Whiskey Advocate.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw this on their website. Well, I actually saw this in their magazine. And I saw this on their website, right? So has anybody seen this yet?
I've actually seen it, yes.
Okay. So first off, I'm going to say that I love the fact that they include a lot of scotch. It's not just bourbon. It's just not American. It's not just rye. They put in a mixture of stuff. Although, as I say that, I don't think I've seen a rye. I saw a Boo Rye, but I don't think I saw a rye in there.
Well, no one's perfect. It's okay.
I mean, yes, okay. That's one way to say it. But what are your thoughts against this? Because normally, I put them here with I guess Fred Minnick, right? And nothing against Fred Minnick, but we all know he puts out his 100 best whiskeys of the year or whatever, and he does them in 4 hours, and he goes through all of them and tells you his ranking, right? So I put Whiskey Advocate's top 20 in that same, I guess, level, right? Because it's good to see what he picked, and it's good to see what they picked, but does it really change what I think about the whiskeys that I've tasted in 2024? No, not really.
No.
Right? Mm-mm. So I thought it was interesting for us to talk about because, this is the first live stream that we do in 2025. 2024 was, 3 weeks ago? And I have to agree with them on a few of these, right? So let's talk about these, Jason. So first off, I love the fact how the top 3 are freaking Scotch.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I have not had any of these 3 specifically.
I haven't either. I have not either.
I am a fan of Lefroy. Brook Lottie all day, every day. One of my daily drinkers is Brook Lottie, what is it? Was it Classic Lottie? Old Lottie? I can't remember. The blue bottle.
The Brook Lottie 18-year-old?
No. It's not an 18. It's just a
the Classic Lottie? Okay.
For the money, that is a no-brainer. I'll buy it anytime I'm out. I've probably bought, 6, 7 of those bottles already. Because every time I go out, I buy another one.
But I've been unfortunately with Brook Lottie, I've been put into that peated route, And now whenever I go for the Bruichladdich, I usually get a Port Charlotte.
Well, okay. Granted,
Yes.
I always have Port Charlotte too.
I know. Because I really like the Port Charlotte. I do like the classic Lottie. I really do.
And
but
I love peated. I mean, you noticed the shirt tonight, right? My custom made
I know, man.
hard baked shirt. But
I love that shirt, by the way. Is that is that like a baseball jersey?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's a baseball jersey.
Nice. Let me see. Oh, model it out. There you go. There you go.
The sleeves, and then it's got the big print on the back, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome, dude.
But Lefroy, always a fan. I have several Lefroys on the bar. I have several Bruichladdich. Lagavulins, I have 4 or 5 different Lagavulins.
So
I'm a little surprised that the only Ardbeg in here was the Spectacular. I mean,
yeah, and we'll get to that one, right? So let's talk about the first 5, right?
All right, let's do that. Yeah.
So Lefroy, I haven't had this one. Now I
haven't had the Elements, but I've had
I am hit and miss with Lefroy personally, because I like some Lefroys, and then some Lefroys I'm just like, I'd rather have like an Ardbeg or a Lagavulin. Right.
Yeah, and somebody asked when we were talking to Jonathan, somebody asked about doing barrel aging on the coast to get more of the brininess, right? And that's kind of what I associate with Lefroy. It's really got that sort of iodine, briny,
It's for me, it's just a little bit. I love the way that Lagavulin does it. I love the way that Ardbeg does it. Lefroy is just like a little. I guess if you would see Pete on the on a little turn dial, it's a little bit more up for me. And while I like it, sometimes it gets to be a little bit too much.
I mean, it sounds awful because this is never how you should describe a whiskey, but you really get that Band-Aid taste with Lefroy.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
It's harsh, but sometimes I want harsh. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the green bottle rubs Derek the wrong way. Hey Derek, am I gonna? Hey man, am I gonna see you at the Whiskey Winter Meetup, man? Because it was awesome hanging out with you, man. I think that was like 2 years ago, dude. But it was awesome hanging out with you, man. Let me know. No. Are you gonna be there? Because I'm gonna be there.
Now that Bruichladdich. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carlos.
No, I was just going to say at Cheech's meetup. So the Bruichladdich, you were talking about the Bruichladdich. What were you going to say about the Bruichladdich?
Is that the one that comes in the fancy little leather?
Yeah.
The blue leather? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I've been so tempted so many times. It's a big nut to bite off, right? It's not a cheap bottle.
Yeah, it's like here it's like $190. It's like $189 and some change.
Yeah.
So it's $190. Now, it is 18 years. So it does have that going for it, but I'm on the fence. And shout out to On the Barrel. They're not here, but I have to shout them out because it's a channel that I watch. They scored this pretty good on their channel.
Well, I'm not surprised.
They said that it was really good. Yeah. So I just have to actually pull the trigger.
You know what? Maybe you and I just need to go in on one and split it. Maybe that's what we need to do.
There you go. Maybe we should do that, man. Because it's, I want to have this, and then it showing up here, I'm like, okay. Now, so what is this? The Lagavulin Isla singles. So this is one of their like special releases for the year. But I don't know if this was this like the I don't know. I saw that they had one that was like finished in rum or tequila, and I don't know if that's what this is. Here.
This one is actually, I'm looking at it. Yeah, this one is a tequila cask.
Okay, so yeah, I'm out on that one.
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out too, because it's not an Offerman series, it's not a distiller series, so it's like, and Lagavulin doesn't do a whole lot outside of Offerman or distiller series, so I don't know. I mean, maybe it's worth it, but again, I mean, it's pushing 200, right?
I don't think it's that much yet.
Yeah, well, 170.
Yeah, but it's in the one somethings, right?
Yeah.
It's all right, Derek, man. So I'll try to. Hopefully, I see you, man, at one of these events, dude.
Oh, there you go,
And,
Gandy.
hope
Gandy
you're all
said
good.
he's tried the Lottie 18. He says it's good, but not worth the money. That's
Okay.
kind of my issue with a lot of these. It's just they get a little up there.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. But it is an 18 year. Okay, so we'll give it that, right? And the only reason I'm saying that is because, I mean, shit, man. I paid like $200 for what is that? What was that orphan barrel? The Indigo Sour, which was supposed to be 18 years as well. I paid $200 for it. So,
ouch.
Obviously, I finished the hell out of that bottle. I actually liked it. It was low proof, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Was it worth $200? Was it, in my eyes, was it worth $200? Probably not. But did I enjoy the hell out of the bottle? Yeah. Right. So no ouch on my end. So I feel like that's how I'll feel about this one. Right. Now, have you tried the Bardstown Amroot?
So I've had a couple of the Disco series. I have not had the Amroot.
The only way that I was able to have this is because Dave Vogelsang sent me a sample, and
very nice.
It was actually really good, dude. I am probably going to buy a bottle.
Is it worth 160?
That's the whole thing, man. It's like
because that's
what I was about to say. It's like I'm being very selective this year. One, because I'm watching my budget a lot more.
I am
but
too. I'm
being very selective on the bottles that I get, right? We have a bottle club member here that if you go to his house, he has like stuff that he likes, not just stuff that just comes out and he'll just grab, right? And I'm trying to get more on that end. And sometimes it's allocated stuff, sometimes it's not, right? Like this isn't really allocated, but I do like it. So this might actually make the list of shit. I might just go and buy a bottle and have it here, right? But I have to check, right, to see if I really want to spend that money.
No, I agree. And I mean, you know my take on all of this. We've talked about it many times, but I mean, you know, you look at my wall, I'm the king of mid-tier. I do have some unicorns, but I'm more about bang for the buck. You know, my videos reflect that. I don't usually use really high-end whiskey in any of my videos.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
But I will say, though, it's like I've tasted, and shout out to Dave Vogelsang, because he sent me these samples, right?
Oh, yeah.
I tasted the Amroot, I tasted the Foursquare rum one, and I tasted the Goose Island Stout, which I just finished telling Jonathan that I'm not a fan of too many stout finishes. But that Goose Island Stout was really freaking good.
There's a reason that those sell for what they do, which I think is an obscene price. Okay,
it is. It's a high price, but I think, dude, I have to actually say that I kind of think they're worth it.
One of the best stouts you can get. Yes.
Yes, and I think this Amroot is the same way, and I think that Foursquare rum, and you know my take on rum. So, guys, if you don't know, I cannot have rum personally. If I have rum, I kind of gag. Yes, I kind of gag. Like
sad state of affairs.
I cannot have rum, but that Foursquare rum finished Bardstown was really freaking good, and I enjoyed every. I think it came out in my whiskey advent calendar. Actually.
I'm just gonna say, considering your heritage, that's almost a sin, man.
Dude, I got really, if what it is about rum and Amaretto di Serrano, I got really drunk when I was younger. So for me, it's an
we
experience
all have that
thing.
one liquor, yes.
Yeah, for me, it's an experience thing. And that's why I don't like too many Canadian whiskeys. Because Canadian whiskeys gives me that Amaretto di Serrano vibe.
Yeah.
So it's funny.
For me, back in the day, it was 100 proof Southern Comfort. Can't drink it to this day.
Damn, I got to return that to the store. I was going to take it over your house.
Yeah, you need to take that back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Josh over here says that he does not like peat. He actually had nasal trauma and nightmares after smelling the 14.3. Now, to be fair, the more in points that you go up, so the 14.1 is the less peaty one. 0.2 is more peaty, and 0.3 is even more peaty than that. Yeah. So you had the worst one to actually try to smell, Josh.
Somebody mentioned earlier in the comments that they got a Compass Box Peat Monster cast strength. I have one of those as well. If you want a peat bomb, I guess short of spending the money on an Octomore, yeah, the Peat Monster is oof. Yeah.
I've talked to you about my Peat Monster experience, and I've gotten. I did a video, which I haven't put out yet because I haven't edited it yet, where I'm trying whiskeys that I didn't like. And Peat Monster was on there that I didn't like before, but now I'm retrying it. Now that, your palate changes, right? So I went back to the Peat Monster, and spoiler alert, I actually did not have a problem with it this time.
All right.
Hey, Derek, have a good night, man. Thanks for getting on.
Good luck on the interview, brother.
Yeah, good luck,
Absolutely.
Man.
So number 5.
You haven't been to my house. You don't know what I got. No, I don't know, Bradford, so you got to let us know, man.
Yeah, at least send us a picture or something. Come on.
Yeah, and I know you live close. I think Radford's in, like, Land O'Lakes, man. So,
you see, come on now.
Yeah. And I haven't seen you at a bottle share in a long time, Bradford.
So, number 5, Heaven Hill Grain to Glass.
Okay, so that's the bourbon. I mean, I've tasted that at a bottle share, and I honestly don't think that this should be on the list. Personally.
I think for Heaven Hill, it's not a bad whiskey. However, I would probably buy the Heaven Hill Bottled in Bond all day, every day for the price over that one. It's not worth double the price to me.
So, I think that's where my problem is. I am not a fan of the Heaven Hill Bottled in Bond. And I actually put out a little short for, I think it was May the 4th. Yeah. Where I had freaking Darth Vader say, you have failed me for the last time. And it was basically a bottle of Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond. I'm not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan. And I've tried it so many times. So I think that's my issue with Heaven Hill Grain to Glass bourbon. Now that you actually bring that up. That may be my issue. I do like the weeded one. I like the weeded one. I just don't like this bourbon one.
I feel like a lot of those grain to glass ones were a supply and demand thing. I think they capitalized on it. And again, I don't dislike Heaven Hill. I always have a Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond on my bar. I love it. It's great, especially in a cocktail because it's not super expensive. It's 100 proof. It's a good, clean bourbon. But this one in particular, I have the same issue with this one, Carlos, that I have with 1924 from Old Forester, right? It's great. Is it worth double the money of 1910? No,
it's not. I don't think it is, man. So, Bradford, congrats on your new job. Josh, that's awesome, man, that you actually had a sample of that. Did you like it?
Oh, wow. Look, Big Cat's on. What's up, Big Cat?
Hey, what's up, Big Cat? What's going on? I'm getting a lot of grain to glass ryes. So I haven't tasted the rye, I don't think. So Keith P says that the tire fire that you sent him almost killed him.
Come on. That is so good.
More like 3 times the price. Heaven Hill bottled in bond. Sitting on the shelf. Okay. Hill grain to grass worth the money and
not worth. Yeah, I agree with Gandhi.
Yeah, not worth money. Definitely devalues the list. Yeah, I think
agree.
so. Hey, what's up, Thomas? Thanks for getting on. What's up, Big Cat? Thanks for getting on, man. Tom Black, what's up? Good evening.
Crew.
Right? Second that Gandhi wrote.
Yeah,
okay, Josh.
I agree with both of them. Yep.
Original grain to glass. I don't know why I keep saying grain to grass. Is Iowa style Cedar Ridge. So can I vent a little bit on Cedar Ridge? So I haven't had any Cedar Ridge except for a pick that I got.
Oh, go back one. Hold on. I don't mean to interrupt you. Go back one comment.
Yeah. Which one? This one? This one?
Yep, there we go. I'm with Steven on this one. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, early time bottle and bond is amazing. Yeah, I mean, for the price, it's just great.
It is, but if we're gonna do real price, yeah, early times, yeah.
It just
I always have 2 or 3 bottles of those here for sure.
I love it, William Hall. William Hall says, "Grain to glass is like the ugly girl with the 3 hot girls and drags down the overall score."
Oh my god, that is so good.
Amazing, dude.
That is so good. Wow.
That's awesome. Really wasn't as bad on my palate than the nose. Okay, I think Keith is still talking about the tire fire. If you haven't tried it, I recommend trying the Prideful Goat.
I have Prideful Goat, both the regular and the cast strength. And it was weird. So, real quick, short story. Prideful Goat, when it first came into Florida, it was like $100 a bottle, and then actually Total Wine all of a sudden, for whatever reason, goes, "Oh, we're going to clearance it for like 65, and it's still 65 over there. Prideful Goat at 65 is a good buy. And I know you're not a rye guy, Carlos, but
I mean, I do like Prideful Goat rye. I think, quite honestly, I think the Prideful Goat line in general, and I know they source it, but I think the Prideful Goat line in general, I think is pretty good. I have a 15-year-old bourbon over here that I love, dude. I really love that 15-year-old Prideful Goat bourbon.
So Prideful Goat holds a little special spot for me, and Carlos, you have to indulge me. Give me just a couple minutes to tell the story. You know what story I'm going to tell.
Yes, I know.
So when Carlos and I first met at a bottle share for the club, and literally it was really in the infancy of the club. I was like member 32. Carlos wasn't that far behind me. Maybe what, Carlos, like 40, 45, 50, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So the very, very first time that Carlos and I met, we went to a bottle share, and I brought Prideful Goat, as a matter of fact, for the share. And Carlos comes up to me, we're kind of chatting, and he was kind of telling me, yeah, dude, I do a YouTube channel, I do all this thing, this, that, and the other thing. And he goes, can I ask you something? He goes, can I get like a 2-ounce sample of your Prideful Goat that you brought? I'm like, yeah, dude, go ahead. No worries, man. It's all good. So he did. He poured a sample, and we went about our way. Well, we hooked up more and more after that. And he's like, dude, I want to come over. I want to do, this interview with you about your whiskey wall. Because I had showed him pictures of the wall when we were at the bottle share. He goes, dude, I'd love to put it on my channel. I'm like, yeah, man, come on over. And for what it's worth, guys, I was not even a YouTube person at that time. And Carlos came over. We did it. We just meshed. It was awesome. Carlos, I'll give him full credit. Carlos is the one that got me into trying to do a whiskey channel. Seriously. It's all thanks to Carlos. And so he leveled with me when we were at the house. He goes, dude, I got to level with you. You know that prideful goat that you gave me? And I said, yeah. He goes, well, that wasn't for me. That was actually for a subscriber.
Yeah, man. I mean, I finished my prideful goat rye, and I did not want to buy another bottle. I just didn't. Just for a 2-ounce sample. No. So when I saw that you brought that, I was like, crap, I gotta ask Jason.
Yeah.
Because I really don't want to spend another $60, $70 on this bottle that's just gonna sit on my shelf, right?
Right. And the funny thing is after all of that, and then we did the little, short video Carl posted up on his channel, the wall and everything else. And we hit it off so well at that get together. He's like, dude, you should come on and do a live, which I did. And now here we are a year later that we've been doing lives together this entire time.
Yep. Exactly, man.
And I don't
almost a year.
I think it's a cool ass story. I really do.
So Steven Scone just called me the whiskey mooch. Yep. Well, you got it, Steven. You got it.
Yeah.
I'm the chump and the mooch.
So number 6, Carlos, one of your favorites.
No, that is not. So that actually came out as one of my disappointments for last year. Because that is the 01-2024, which what was it? Is that the Charlie's batch? No,
Springfield.
Springfield, yes.
Yeah,
Charlie's batch was the year before that.
Yes.
So yeah, this came out as a disappointment. I can't believe that out of the 4 bookers that came out last year, you choose this one?
Springfield. Yeah.
Like what the hell? Yeah. I don't understand. Yep.
Nope.
Yep. Nope. William Hall, that's me, man. I go to bottle shares of a 2-ounce sample empties in my pocket. I really don't, but that's not a bad idea.
No.
Though.
He doesn't.
That's not a bad idea. All right, so number 7. I've said my piece about number 6. What do you think about number 6 before I go on?
Number 6, I'm in agreement with you.
Okay, cool. Number 7.
I like number 7.
I like number 7. Okay? But I will preface it. I will say that I'm a little shocked that the blue corn one was not number 7. Because I personally, I like the blue corn better than red corn.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
I still like the red corn, but the blue corn to me is a lot better.
I mean, and given the option, if you want to combine the blue corn and the red corn, I'll take the Tangers, but that's a whole different level.
Yeah, exactly. So shout out to Old Fashioned Ways. He's actually here in Florida, man. So we gotta hit him up. Yeah, Doc is I think he's in Orlando.
What the hell?
But he's gone on Saturday, so I don't know if I can make that work.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's
the thing. Yeah, I don't know if I can make that work, man. But he comes here regularly, so next time that he comes, I'm gonna definitely try to meet up with Doc. So
yeah,
shout out to Old Fashioned Ways ++, Doc Martinez over there. He told me that the new blue corn 6-year is amazing. That he actually puts it up side by side, and it's slightly under Tanager.
Really?
You're talking about 70, 80-ish bottle compared to a 150. That's
and
still...
I was on the live that Doc cracked the Tanager, and so did RJ.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, they were doing the Westwards too, because that was the first time I saw somebody mix it when they did the 412 and the 1702.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really good live.
That was a good live, and that mixture is amazing. By the way, guys, I have that here. Jason, I'm gonna take the 1702. I'm gonna take it to your house on Saturday, man, so that you can have a taste of that, because that is really freaking good.
Awesome.
All right. Doc is at Disney. Yeah, not a lot of people got the blue corn, but it is amazing. Yeah, I agree, Charles. I had one last year. No, not last year. In 2023, I got that one. I didn't get the one last year. So I haven't found the 6-year one. I guess maybe I could have found it online, but I wasn't even searching for it. But the one in 2023, I put it as one of my top bottles for 2023. I really like that one. So again, the red corn is good. I like the red corn. I just think the blue corn is better. So damn, everybody knows that Doc is at Disney.
There you go.
There you go. Love all the bookers. Been buying them since 88, 89. Thomas, you and I are friends, man, because as you can see here, I have bookers here, and you can't see some bookers that I have as floor whiskey over here.
Yeah,
So,
I don't have my unicorn shelf in the picture, but I have 7, 8 different bookers on my shelf too.
Yeah.
The only one, by the way, Thomas, my man, if you can ever hook us up, seriously, if you have country ham,
up,
that
Chance?
is the one bookers of all time I have not been able to try. I'll trade you some Kentucky tea if you don't have it.
I haven't had country ham either. You're right.
No.
What's up, Chance? Yes, blue corn over red. Definitely.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. It reminds me to put a case of sample bottles in the car. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea, right? Booker's just $1 store. Recess.
Wow.
Okay, Charles. What's going on, man? Mellow corn for the win. Jason, have you tried mellow corn?
I have.
Okay. What are your thoughts
It took a while to find it, and I finally found it at gas bars on the bottom shelf.
Keith, I have not had your whiskey tree yet. I wanted to pop it on a video, which I haven't recorded yet, but I will definitely record it in the next couple of days.
Fill me in. What is whiskey tree?
So 7-3 Distillery has it, they're a Louisiana distillery, and Keith was awesome enough to send me their whiskey tree bourbon. I believe it's a wheated bourbon, and Keith, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's this new bourbon that they put out. 7-3 Distillery is doing some good things, and I don't know if it's out there yet. I think it is already, but Nancy Fraley is working with them as well. They're putting out some really good things. They're in Louisiana, so Keith has access to them, and he's been sending me some amazing samples of it. And then he just sent me a bottle for Christmas of Whiskey Tree, which is from 7-3 Distillery.
I'm just saying, if you got a bottle, you better share.
Hey, man, like I said, no, he sent me the high rye one. Okay, I still like the high rise.
I'm a huge fan of high rise.
So yeah, that would be that. I'm gonna pop that, but I'm gonna take it over your house, man. Maybe I'll record it before Saturday, but if I record it before Saturday, I'll definitely take it over your house.
Yeah, no worries. Take your time, man. I just when you get to it, I'd love a sample.
Yeah, definitely, man. Gandhi wrote, "Oh, Gandhi's leaving. Gotta drop, everyone. Have a great night." Hey, Gandhi, thanks for stopping in, man. Appreciate you getting on.
Good night, Gandhi.
Have a good night,
brother.
Okay, so number 8, Glenmorangie 16. I haven't had this, and I'm not really a big fan of Glenmorangie.
So I do like Glenmorangie. I do not have the Nectar. I have Nectar Dior, which is the 12-year version.
Okay.
I like,
and I think I tasted that at your house, and I do like it. Now,
what's interesting is, and I'm gonna check it because maybe it's not a 12-year; it's a blended. But the Glenmorangie that I have, the Nectar Dior, is like pushing 100, and I'm a little curious as to why this one's 90.
So Glenmorangie, I like their Tales of series. So I like all the Tales, right?
So
Except for maybe the Winter. The Winter is okay.
Yeah,
but
Winter,
all the other ones are really freaking good. Even the Tokyo one.
Forest isn't great though either.
I love Forest, dude.
But Forest. you brought over that Tale of Cake, and I'm like, seriously?
Tale of Cake is the best one. And I've tasted your ice cream, and ice cream is good.
I paid you back with Tale of Ice Cream.
It's a close. It's very close.
It's very close.
Tale of Cake is amazing.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Charles, yes, I have to do that blind man. That is coming. That's on my list to do to record. I haven't recorded that either. So that is on my list.
As a YouTube person, it's good to have a backlog of videos.
Yeah, I know, man, right? So Keith's local group has a distillery takeover next week. All right, nice, man. Let me know how that goes. Oh, and by the way, Charles, thank you for giving me those samples, man. That was amazing. Thank you, man.
Keith, we have to know what distillery you're taking over.
He told me, I forgot the name. I don't know if it's 7-3 Distillery or if it's another distillery. I remember we were talking while I was at my son's practice, and I forgot which distillery. I think it is 7-3. Yeah, 7-3.
Okay, very cool. So that's the Whiskey Tree one.
Yes, that is the Whiskey Tree one.
All right, very cool. All right.
All right. So I agree with number 9. I think it should be higher. I definitely think it should be higher.
I do too.
I really, and this almost made it to my top 10 of 2024, quite honestly. I think it's really good. The Wild Turkey 70th is just an overall good whiskey. I mean,
so for me, Wild Turkey 70th is quintessential Wild Turkey without the Wild Turkey funk.
Okay.
Because if you do 101, that to me has the classic Wild Turkey funk. 70th doesn't have it.
It doesn't. You're right. I mean, it kind of does. I get a little bit of the Wild Turkey funk.
It's very subtle.
It is subtle. I agree with you there. It is very subtle.
I love it, and my only regret about the 70th is I didn't buy more bottles.
So I have another bottle, but I think it's going to be for a giveaway.
I have the one bottle I bought. It's half gone, and I'm getting very sad.
Yeah, I have one bottle. Stuff. I have one bottle open. It's like I think it's like almost halfway. But then I have an extra one that I think I'm gonna use it for a giveaway. So be on the lookout, guys. That's gonna be able to giveaway.
Of course, once it's gone and I'm sad, then I'll just flip to Kentucky Spirit or Rare Breed, and I'll be okay.
Or by that time, you might have the 8-year 101 coming out.
True.
Throughout the middle of the year, man.
And here's the thing. What do you think about that? Is it going to be exactly the same mash bill, same as the 70th?
I don't know, man. And that's
I'm thinking it's going to be very close. And
that's what I'm curious about. And shout out to Keith. Keith has the inside scoop. So Keith was watching the live stream from Mash and Drum the other day, where he had one of the guys, I forgot the guy's name. It was one of the Russells that he had on, and he said that Kentucky Spirit, that the 101 8-year could be taking over the Kentucky Spirit. So I don't know if that's the case.
I'm okay with that.
No, yeah, like I'm good with that. I just don't know if it warrants that, right? Like,
I know. But
I mean, what is it? Wild Turkey 101 is already 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
Old.
Yeah.
Give or take. Yeah. And then this one goes up to 8. I I don't know, man. I gotta taste it to see. Is it really like? Can it really take out one of their regular releases?
It could. I don't know.
So Thomas said, "Wish I could find a JT Melick high proof bottle."
I'm gonna call out Chance too because he's like talking about Louisiana makes really good whiskey. Yeah, dude. If anybody has Melick that they can send a sample, I'll love you forever.
I mean,
that's one I have not been able to get my hands on is Melick.
Dude, I have a JT Melick. It's just not a high proof. Dude, I brought it to a bottle share that we were both at. So I don't know if you had it there, but I brought it to that.
Well, I should have. I don't remember, but
I'll take it over your house next time. There you go. Another Saturday bourbon. It's amazing. The only problem with mine is that it's not a higher proof. It's a cast strength, but at the cast strength, it's like 110 or 111, I think it is, which that's not really cast strength for me because I've seen some higher proof ones. Actually, I think it's 107, which is still very low. But I really like it. I think JT Melick is doing some really good things.
All right, so number 10, Carlos. Bernheim, original barrel.
I've never gotten into the Bernheims. And you guys can't see it here, but I pulled it up on my phone. And they're talking about batch A224.
Correct.
I don't know if Here's the thing with me and Bernheim. I'm not a really big fan of Larceny Barrel Proof. So for me to get into Bernheim Barrel Proof, still having that weeded note, I don't know. I haven't had enough of it. Let's just say I haven't had enough of it to agree or disagree with it. I'll leave it
right
at
there,
that.
brother. Right there.
Okay.
I like the Larceny Barrel Proofs.
Well, I do and I don't, right? So I'm very picky with those. So I have a C923, which was really good. I did like the A124. I didn't like the B524, and I really like the C924.
So this is A124. I
like that one.
522.
Okay.
I have a B, or no, I have a C. I think I have a C923 too.
Okay. The C923 is good, dude. I really like that one. And then the C924 was really good. And you guys haven't seen the video because I haven't put it out yet. I might just put it out as a Patreon thing. But I was outside smoking a cigar when I recorded this video. And yes, right? And I put C924 Larceny Barrel Proof versus Elijah Craig C924 Barrel Proof, right? And most of the time, I go for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. That is my palate. But this time, what I picked was spoiler alert. What I picked was the Larceny Barrel Proof C924. I liked it a lot more than the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So,
I have a lot of Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs, and I like them. They're not, subpar by any standard. But I have found that I like the Larceny's better.
Yeah.
One thing Beam did well was the Larceny Barrel Proofs. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, some of them, right? I mean, the B524 was okay. It didn't warrant me going to buy a bottle, quite honestly. A124 I did like. And then I think I had a B523, which I thought it was okay, but I actually put that one as one of the bottles that I gave away for charity.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. They're really hit or miss with me. So, 11.
Yeah.
The only Ardbeg that they have here, and it's the Spectacular. I have never tasted this, although our local Total Wine has this. It's $130, And from what I've gotten from other people is that they say that it doesn't warrant the $130. That's what I've heard.
So, for me, Ardbeg, right? And I got the Ardbeg baseball jersey on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very partial to Ardbeg, but Carlos, you and I have talked about this. I've scored you a bottle. We know the whole thing. For me, it's either Oogie or Corey Vekrin. I mean, those are the two quintessential Ardbegs for me.
Yep.
And I love them both. And honestly, I go back and forth all the time, just depending on the night, my mood, you know.
And it's not saying that the other ones aren't good either way, right?
No,
we're not saying that, but those are our favorites. I agree with you, Jason. Those two are two of my favorites. The Anoa or whatever the hell that's called, that's not bad. It's a little cheaper. Okay. It's not bad. The 10-year is not bad either.
I have 10-year.
Yeah, it's not bad. The Wee Beastie is not bad either. For the price, it's not bad. I have
that one too.
But then when you start getting over $100, that's when you really have to kind of see, is this really worth the money?
And for what it's worth, the whole thing with the Ardbegs is that, and Carlos knows this, is that Corey Vekrin is awesome, but here in Florida, it's $130. Granted, Mrs. Whiskey Therapy,
hey, bro,
travels a lot.
Hey, Mike.
She goes back to St. Louis, and she got Carlos and I both bottles, so 2 bottles, one for each of us, of Corey Vekrin for $97.99. God bless her.
Yeah.
All day, every day for that price.
And it was amazing that she was able to get that. So thankful for her and for you, right? For you guys
no worries, man.
To get me.
We got your brother. You know that.
Thank you, man.
Now, number 12 is where I'm totally out on this list because there isn't anything about Angel's Envy that I like. I'm sorry.
Dude, and then they said 2023, which I have that bottle. I have that bottle right there.
I remember when you got it.
It was one of my biggest disappointments for 2023. It really was, right? And first off, let's call out the elephant in the room. How is this a 2024 list and you have a bottle from 2023? And now that makes me question the other bottles that are here, right? Because at least the bourbons I know, but some of these scotch, did they actually come out in 2024? Or are they from different years and you guys just had them in 2024, right? Because this one, they specifically call out the 2023 cast strength one. So that's my first problem with this. But my second problem is that I just don't think that this warrants top 20 for 2024. Guys, if you don't know,
this wouldn't make the top 100.
Maybe it would.
No,
but definitely not top 20. I mean, if you don't know, I bought one of these going off of Sean's recommendation from the Bourbon Junkies. So Dan and Sean from the Bourbon Junkies. Sean loves Angel's Envy cast strength. And I went off of his recommendation. It was pricey, guys. It was over $200. And I bought it back in 2023. I was so disappointed in this bottle.
Sean is wrong.
Sean just is a fan of Angel's Envy, unfortunately. I mean, not unfortunately, but I didn't take that into consideration before buying this bottle.
No, I get it. It hits his palate, but it does not. No Angel's Envy does anything for me. I'm just I don't know.
I agree, and I have 3 Angel's Envy's bottles. I bought one that's the regular one. I bought a single barrel one that I got from the store in South Florida where I used to live, and then this cast strength one. Ask me how long these have been here that I haven't touched them.
I have 2 or 3. I have one that's barely beyond neck core, and I have another 1 or 2 backups that haven't been cracked because I don't like them.
Yeah. I mean, they're just...
But they're on the bar. Before, people that come over and go, "Oh, you have Angel's Envy." It's kind of like Blanton's, right? Like regular Blanton's. "Oh, you have Blanton's? Yeah, you want some? Take it all."
Yeah, exactly. And Mike Brock, you brought up a good point. Like the triple oak. So I got a sample as well. I forgot who sent me the sample, but I got a sample of that. And in this, Doc sent me the sample. Old Fashioned Ways Plus. He sent me the sample, and I was like, "Oh, this is actually pretty good." And I didn't know it was the Angel's Envy. And I was like, "This is actually pretty good." Okay, it was that triple oaked one. And then when I tasted it again, I think I tasted it at a bottle share. I was like, "Yeah, this is so underwhelming."
So, just in comparison, not on the list, but Carlos, have you tried the Woodford double oak?
Woodford double oaked. I haven't tried it yet. No, I have. It was at your house. Scott brought it over.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you were here for that. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was good. I still haven't picked up my bottle. I have a bottle that somebody got for me, and I still haven't picked it up. But I think it was really good.
It's really good. Is it worth the $200 to $250?
Is it worth $200 that I paid for it? No, it is.
No,
not. It is not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't regret spending $200 on it. I know he paid a little bit more. I paid $200 for it.
Yeah, I think he did $250 for his.
Yeah, so I paid $200 for it. I mean, it's good, but it's not $200 worth.
No, agreed. So wait, so number 13. Now this one I think is interesting because you and I both bought this at the same time.
Yeah,
we were with Roger down at
shout out to Roger.
Norman's. Yeah, shout out to Roger.
I know he was on earlier. I don't know if he's still on here.
Yeah, I don't know if he still is, but we were down at Norman's and we bought this one. Your thoughts? I know you did a review on it, but your thoughts?
So I really like this one, right? I'm a fan of Boo Rice, and I really like this one, but I don't know if you guys have seen my top 10 for 2024. It wasn't on there, right? I mean, I don't think this warrants a spot on the top 20. It's a good bourbon. Like, it's a good Boo Rye. It's a good whiskey.
Yeah.
But it's not top 20, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah. I mean, and it's the same one with the 14 as well.
No, number 14. I was going to say, yeah. I mean, there's some 2XOs I would probably put in this top 20 list, but I don't think it's Kauai.
So last year, Kiowa and Sneakerhead came out.
Yeah, okay.
And I liked Sneakerhead more than Kiowa. Kiowa was good. I like Sneakerhead a little tiny bit more, but they also put out the French Oak from their Oak series, which was the $50 or the $40 ones. So you had that one. So 2XO put out 3 last year. Mm-hmm. Do I think any of them warrant a spot on the top 20 of 2024? I think if anything, maybe the Sneakerhead I like better than Kiowa. I still like Kiowa. But I like Sneakerhead a little bit better. But I still wouldn't put it out of the top 20.
So for me, if we're just talking 2XO in general, if something was going to make this list, and I still don't know that it would make top 20, it'd be Innkeeper.
Innkeeper was good. Was good. I do like Innkeeper. I mean, obviously it wouldn't make it for the 2024, but Innkeeper was good.
But I think it's better than Kiowa or Sneakerhead.
I don't know, and I have to taste it. I did like Innkeepers. I didn't like the Tribute blend. Well, I'm not gonna say I didn't like it. I
It
just
wasn't as
like.
good.
I think Tribute Blend was my least favorite out of all of them that and I think I have all of them except for the Kentucky Gem.
You
Yeah,
have
I think
Innkeeper left?
I have Innkeeper. I have the
Okay.
Phoenix Blend. I have the Tribute. I have Kiowa and Sneakerhead, and then I have the the American Oak and the French Oak.
Yep.
So, out of all of those, I think the Tribute was my least favorite one.
I would agree. Yeah.
But I don't know. I still don't think they should get a spot on the top 20. But then I say that, but right as I'm saying that, I'm like, okay, so what would if I had to pick actually top 10 is it's not easy, but top
No.
10 is you can at least remember what you're picking. Once you get over 10, it's like, okay, then what would I actually put instead of, let's say, Knob Creek Bourbon and Rye or 2XO Kiowa blend, right? What would I actually put in its place? And I don't know if I can answer that question right now.
So, and maybe this is, a discussion when we're done, but the one that, for me personally, that I am surprised is not anywhere on this list. That was one of my definitely top 20 for sure. For 24 was Bardstown High Wheat.
Oh, yeah. You're right. That one should have definitely made this list.
That is
quite
a
honestly,
contender with
I think a lot more Bardstowns should have been on this list because I think a lot of those other ones came out in 2024 as well, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not the Goose Island one, but I think the Four Square Rum one came out in 24. I could be wrong on that, but I thought it did. But yeah, that High Wheat one definitely should have been on this list.
That High Wheat for the price, I mean, that goes up against a lot of my Wellers, honestly.
Dude, I did, and I haven't put this video out yet, but I put it up against the Weller's 107. And
107 is one of my favorite weeders of all time.
It is one of my favorites as well. And it beat 107. Spoiler alert. It beat 107, right?
I don't doubt it. It's so damn good.
At least for my palate, it beat 107. How much did these brands pay to be on the list? Yeah, I mean, with this type of list and this type of publication, you know that there definitely was some greasing of the palms, right?
So that said, I mean, look at number 15. Has anyone that's still watching had Compass Box Crimson Cask? I've had a lot of Compass Box. I own a lot of Compass Box bottles. I've never tasted this one.
Quite honestly, man, I could probably say the same thing that you just said. I can probably say that about about all of them up until 20, right? Has anybody had Redbreast Missouri Oak? I've seen it around. I haven't had it.
I won't spend the money on it because I'm still stuck on the Redbreast 12 PX.
Yeah. Brewers Coalition from Virginia. What is that? Virginia Distilling Company. I've had Virginia Distilling Company stuff, but I haven't had that Brewers Coalition. Bushmills 10. Did that even come out in 2024? Starward 100 proof. Single malt. And then the Westland Wine Cask Finish. Like, I don't know if these all... I mean, maybe the Westland came out. And I know the Redbreast Missouri Oak came out.
Yep.
So the Virginia Distilling Company, number 17, is a Hardy Wood Gingerbread Stout Cask. That actually sounds really good.
Yeah.
The Bushmills is a 10-year-old private reserve Bordeaux cask, so it's a wine finish. Starward is a 3-year-old 100 proof. That sounds a little weird. I don't know how I feel about a 3-year-old single malt whiskey, but okay. And then Westland is a exploration wine cask finished. Yeah, I don't know if like a lot of people have actually had these. Like, where the hell have you had this that you put it up against other ones and these beat out?
I mean,
for example, your example again, the Bardstown High Wheat, right? These actually beat that out.
I have some Westlands. Westland does some good stuff. Bushmills.
I think I have yet to try Westland, quite honestly.
Well, next time you're over, I have a Westland for you to try.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Chill Rule?
Bushmills for me, Bushmills I struggle with. Bushmills to me, and I don't dislike the one I'm going to mention. Bushmills for Irish whiskey is the Dewar's of Scotch for me. Okay.
Okay.
I don't dislike Dewar's. That's how I started into Scotch. But is it a great Scotch? No, I have about 50 other Scotches that are better than Dewar's. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way about Dewar's. I didn't start off on Dewar's. Like, if you guys haven't heard, my family was all into Johnny Walker. But I used to have some Dewar's, and you know, it was like a starting Scotch whiskey for me, blended Scotch whiskey, as well as Johnny Walker. But Dewar's doesn't really do it for me anymore either.
Which, funny enough, I just killed a bottle of Johnny Walker Black the other night.
Johnny Walker Black is just a good $35. It's a $35 daily sipper, man. That's what that is. Even the double black is really good as well.
Agreed.
I like the gold. I like the blue. The green is okay.
I won't pay for the blue though. That's just stupid.
Yeah, I won't pay that either. I don't know, but yeah, like from number 15 to number 20, I have no say on these because I've never tasted them, and quite honestly, other than the Missouri Oak one from Redbreast, I haven't really seen them around. Because I don't think I've ever seen that Crimson Cask, that Starward 100 Proof. I haven't seen that Bushmill Experimental. I haven't seen that Virginia Distilling Co. And maybe I haven't paid attention to the Westland one.
Westland's pretty good. I do like Westland.
So
Westland to me is right up there with Westward.
Okay, and I mean, and it's good. I mean, that should be what it is, right? Because Westward and Westland have been kind of like the leaders in the American single malt here, right?
So let me ask you this.
So Charles says, hold on a minute. Charles says Bushmills, that's Protestant whiskey, McNulty, The Wire?
Protestant.
Okay. Oh, Protestant? Protestant? I was like, what the hell? Protestant whiskey. Okay. McNulty from The Wire? Okay. All right, so what were you going to ask?
So let me ask this, and this is probably, really honestly topic for a whole nother live. But do you feel like whiskey, and this is for everybody that's still on, let us know what you think. Do you guys feel like whiskey has finally hit sort of the epitome of price? I feel like whiskey is about to just dive bomb down in price. I really do.
This is definitely a conversation for another day, but
it is.
To quickly answer your question, no. So I don't know if anybody knows or if they've seen it already, but Buffalo Trace is upping their price on a lot of their whiskeys. I think recently Elmer T. Lee around here, they're 92. Selling it for $92. Yeah.
Yep.
Right? They've already been bumping the price up for Stag Jr., for Blanton's. What was another one that I seen that was bumped up.
Sazerac is supposed to double in price.
Yeah. So has it hit the, like, to answer your question, has it hit the, is it gonna lower? Has it hit the price? I don't think so, man. I mean, I think there's distilleries or there's companies like Buffalo Trace or Sazerac that are gonna say, hey, I think we can charge more for these.
So I think that's fair. Here's my thought. I bought a couple extra bottles of Sazerac at $29. And the reason is, and shameless plug, you guys have not seen my best Sazerac ever video, check it out, please. But I do think, and I use actual Sazerac in my Sazeracs. It's mixed with cognac, but that's the way it should be. But I do like Sazerac for that one cocktail. That's really the only thing I use Sazerac in, honestly, is an actual Sazerac cocktail. Now, at $60, $62, will I buy it? Nope. I'll find a substitute. So, to your point, Carlos, I think they've upped the prices on some of these benchmark or lower tier whiskeys. They're certainly able to do so. Do I think people will buy it at that? I don't think they will. I think they have crossed the line at this point. We'll see. But I think they've crossed the line.
Okay. So I agree with you on certain aspects of that, right? Let's just say a benchmark. What was that benchmark? The benchmark foolproof.
Like a foolproof is like what, $27.
Okay. If that becomes almost $50, yeah.
Done.
I think they're screwed. Right?
Yep.
I don't think anybody would pay $50 for that, right?
No.
But will there be somebody that will see an Elmer T. Lee at $92 and still pay it? Because on the other hand, they can find an Elmer T. Lee on secondary for $200. Yeah, they'll still pay $92. So I think it's
currently. Now, would I pay $92 personally for an Elmer T. Lee?
Oh,
no.
Hell no.
I paid $45 for an Elmer T. Lee and traded it almost within 24 hours.
Yeah, and I agree. I think Elmer T. Lee out of that whole mash bill is and that's mash bill 2. That's probably my least favorite one. I would take, and I'm sorry, but I would take a Hancock's Reserve over an Elmer T. Lee.
I would take a Buffalo Trace store pick over an Elmer T. Lee.
Yeah, I would as well. It's the mash bill 1, but I would as well. Like, and Charles says that Sazerac is $25 at Walmart. So Charles, here the Sazerac is $30 at our local ABC, and actually I think it's $35 at Total Wine.
It's here. $28 at Sam's Club.
28 at Sam's Club. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, hopefully more allocated bottles will be available next fall for Christmas. I mean, hopefully that's true, Thomas. I'm hoping that at least. So I can only talk about our local market here.
Yes.
And
me too.
Yeah. So I will say, I am seeing a lot more allocated bottles that I did not see before.
Yes.
So distribution has improved.
It's loosened, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Right? Is it still easy to find? No. It's still a little bit difficult. It's still not like you're going to just walk into any store and just be like, see Pappy's 15 on the shelf. No. It's definitely like that. Or even a Stag Junior. Let's not even go to Pappy 50. You won't walk into a store and see a Stag Junior just sitting there, right? You'll still have to hunt for it. But is it easier to find? Yes. And hopefully it keeps getting like that, right? The more stores that get it, the cheaper the price is going to come down.
But even Stag Junior, all right, to that end, and I know you got a pack, and then I got a pack after you. We both scored. Was it 224B?
Mm-hmm.
We both got one.
Yeah, the 24Bs.
24B, yep.
Yep.
So we both got one, and Carlos got some different liquor with his, which he was not impressed with, which, by the way, thank you, Carlos, is at my bar. But,
well, no, Matt gave you his. I'm going to give you mine on Saturday because I didn't have it with me.
That's fine because, I do cocktails, so I'll take the Wheatley vodka. All good.
You can have the Wheatley vodka all you want.
but so Carlos got his with 2 1-liters of Wheatley vodka. I got mine with 2 1-liters of Paddy Irish whiskey. I need to send Jonathan a sample of that one. It's actually not bad, in all honesty. But it was 109. So what's retail on Stag Junior? 65, right?
I think it went up a little bit. I think it's like almost 70 now. Or I think the last time that I bought one at Publix, which prices it up a little bit, right? They don't
a little bit.
Yeah, they probably priced it up a couple of dollars. I think it was close to $70 last time I bought a Stag Junior at Publix.
But I don't think there's anybody left who's still watching that $109 wouldn't buy a Stag, just the Stag.
Hell no.
Forget that you get something else with it.
And dude, it was funny because I posted, and I don't know who the guy was, but I posted that on my Instagram, and the guy was like, "Oh, have fun with those vodka. How many vodkas did you have to buy for that?" And I'm like, dude, like I don't like a Stag Junior at $110. I'll take that all day. Like whatever. I'm not gonna use the vodka. I'll give it to you. Or whatever, but I'd rather pay $110 for Stag Junior than pay $200, right? First off, I'm not gonna pay $200 for a Stag Junior.
No.
And on secondary, in one of these sites, you get it for like $150. I still would rather pay, obviously, $100 or $110 than $150, right? And then I would have loved your package, right? And remember, I told you this. I was telling you and Matt, if they would have done the Corazon tequila, I would have loved that one versus the Wheatley vodka. Or even the Paddy's Irish whiskey like you got. I would have loved that one versus the Wheatley vodka because at least I would actually try those.
I like the Paddy's Irish, honestly. The Corazon, I have 2-3 bottles of those from PAX.
And it's not good.
Okay. It's not good tequila.
I've never tasted the Corazon tequila.
Well, next time you're over, remind me and you can taste it.
I'm okay.
Great.
I'm okay. I mean, that although I will say that ilegal. Which one was that illegal one? Was that a reposado, an añejo, or a blanco?
No, none of that. It was a mezcal.
Oh, but still, like, does it say like añejo or blanco or whatever? No, it just says mezcal. No.
It's not regular tequila. It's the Grand Pappy 2 tequila. It's mezcal.
Okay. All right. Because I was on ABC's site the other day and I saw blanco and añejo,
nope,
but I didn't see the mezcal.
Nope. So ABC does carry illegal in the mezcal, but you have to look at mezcals. So they do illegal, they do Del McGee, they do Montelobos. Those are all good mezcals.
Okay. So William says Powers for the Irish win. Okay.
Wait, Powers?
Yeah, I don't know what Powers is, William.
No, I don't either. I've never tried it.
Man, I keep hitting this thing.
It's all good, man. You're fine.
So guys, we're gonna end it soon. We've been on for about 3 hours and 7 minutes. Sorry, it didn't go on. It didn't go as planned. But I think we still, I think we still had a good conversation with Jonathan. Jonathan was a great guy, and hopefully we can bring him back on for our Irish. This year we're gonna do the Irish The Irish blind. You know what I was thinking too, Jason?
Yeah.
Have Jonathan on, and we can send him stuff, and then I can reach out to 4-Leaf Whiskey and see if she will come on, and then we do like a 4-way blind. That might be amazing because she knows. Obviously, she knows her stuff with Irish whiskey.
That would be good, dude. That would be good.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Guys, let us know if you think that would be worth watching. Seriously.
Yeah, because would love to start setting that up. I saw a stag at Thanksgiving for MSRP, but you had to buy $500 of shit tequila. Yeah, I wouldn't pay that. Like for just a regular Stag Junior, Thomas? Hell no. So, if you guys are part of like secondary sites, like on Facebook or whatever, you can buy a Stag Junior for like $150 on one of these like Facebook groups. So I would definitely not buy like $500 worth of tequila just to get a Stag Junior at MSRP.
No, never.
No, for that I'd rather have it shipped to my house for $150.
My limit personally is 125 on Stag. That's it. I don't care if it's the package, if it's the bottle. If it's more than 125, I'm out.
So, quite honestly, I used to only get them at MSRP, and I haven't been able to find one of the 24s at MSRP. So I bumped it up to the 110. I was like, okay, whatever. I can get 110. I can spend $110 because when you take into the consideration the Wheatley vodka, maybe it's $20 each bottle.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 40. You're talking about like at $80, right?
Exactly.
For a Stag Junior. Even though I'm not going to use the Wheatley vodka, but you still have to take that into consideration. You're only really paying $80 for the Stag Junior. So will I buy a Stag Junior for $80? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just a no-brainer. Let me take this off, actually. So yeah, I don't know. I think my first Stag Junior was $130. The very first one. It's a batch 14 that I still have there. I don't know if I even have it there or there, but it's a batch 14. It was $130. It was the very first Stag Junior that I ever got, and that has been the most expensive that I've paid for a Stag Junior. And I don't regret it at all. That batch 14 is amazing.
So William Hall is throwing out some Irish whiskeys, and you know what? I would have to have a sample of Ring of Dingle, just based on the name.
So I need to reach out to Stacy, or we need to reach out to Stacy, and we need to get on, a call with her, and see if she'd be down for that, because that would be amazing to get her to do with us and Jonathan a Irish whiskey blind for St. Patrick's Day. I think that would be pretty cool.
And my man, Port Charles, the only places around here that have Stag are all around $275 or more. Hell no. Nope. Not worth it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. So Keith P says, can't find Stag around here for MSRP, secondary only. And Steven's going Stag Junior is a $60 bottle, period. I mean, it should be, right? It's just hard. And Steven, I sent out your package. You should be getting it sometime next week. You do have at least 2 samples of Stag Junior there. So just letting you know, man. That's coming.
Here's my advice. It doesn't mean shit, but here's my advice to all of our folks out there is that, again, king of mid-tier. I have unicorn bottles, but all the unicorn bottles I have were MSRP. Now, does that mean you have to wait a long time to get them? Yep. But and Carlos will relate. And Carlos, I'm going to throw it out there because everybody already knows. Carlos and I both have an WLW, the absolute granddaddy of, Wellers. And we both paid the same price. We paid $120 retail for that bottle. It can happen. Guys, don't give in to the FOMO. That's all I'm saying. Don't give in to the FOMO. Don't pay ridiculous prices because honestly, as a community, if we're ever going to drive these prices back down, we can't buy this stuff at secondary because we're afraid we're going to miss out.
And that's what it is. And that's what it is, man. I mean, quite honestly, I had the chance to get a 24 George T. Stagg 2024 for $535. And I passed on it, right? Because that's still a crap load of money. No, it's not full secondary, because secondary is like at 7 something.
7, 8, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Something like that. But still, $535 is a shitload of money compared to, what is it, $130 MSRP now?
Yeah.
Maybe $135. So that's a crap load of money. So, no,
And shout out to Joe. So you were over here the other night when Joe brought the 24 GTS, right?
No, that was a 2019 that he brought, and that was really
you're right.
good.
You're right. That was a 19. God damn, that was good too.
That was really good, dude. I haven't tasted the 24 yet. I heard that it was better than 23. And I feel the same way, even though what I have up here is a 23. And I feel the same way about it as everybody else does. I really think that is the worst George C. Stagg that I've tasted. Am I happy that I have a George C. Stagg? Yes. But it's still the worst George C. Stagg that I tasted.
And Joe did some trades, not to out him, but his all-in was not more than $150 on that bottle.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. I mean,
it was fantastic. It was one of the best George C. Staggs I've ever tried. Seriously.
Yeah, it was good. And then Dave and I like Dave's bottle as well. He had a 22. So the 2019 and the 2022 were definitely great bottles of George C. Stagg.
Agreed.
I heard that the 2024 is better than the 2023, which makes sense. Spoiler alert. Well, I'm not going to actually spoil it for you guys, but I have a video coming out tomorrow where I put up a blind between George T. Stagg Killer, which is the Abram Smith Bowman Cast Strength Batch 3 9-year-old. It's 135.1 proof sample that I received, and I put that up against my 2023 George T. Stagg. So
oh shit, that's a good video.
Yeah, so that's coming out tomorrow. I was trying to put it out today, but it's coming out tomorrow, and be on the lookout for that. I'm not gonna tell you who won, but yeah.
No, but let's quantify for a minute, because when we're talking about Bowman Cast Strength, that is a distillery only release that you physically have to go to the distillery to get.
I mean, you can find it at some stores. I've heard of people finding it for like $200 and something dollars.
It's so rare.
Yeah, $200 and something dollars. On secondary, it's like $300 to $350. So you can still find it, but yes, it's a limited release. It's I don't know if it's distillery only, but you can definitely find it at the distillery. But a lot of people are saying that this is a George T. Stagg Killer. I will preface everything by saying this is going up against the worst George T. Stagg that I've tasted, at least, right? Which is the 2023.
Yeah, and I don't have the cast strength, but I do have a Abraham Bowman special release, the Oak series, which was the 2024 series. that I literally had to go. So I won it in a lottery. No, I didn't win it. My wife, Mrs. Whiskey Therapy, won it in a lottery. And we actually had to go to Virginia to the distillery and pick it up in person. But I do have it.
Nice, man. And that's the French oak one, right?
Yes, that's the French oak, right?
Nice, man. And have you popped that yet, Jason?
No, I have not. I have John Jay's, I have Isaac's, I have regular Bowman. I have every other Bowman brother that I have cracked, except that one.
That John J. Bowman, the new one.
It's good, right?
The one with the green label on it, the single barrel.
It's good. It
is really good. And again, they say that's so everybody tries to compare the Bowmans to the Buffalo Trace stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And they say that that's hey, what's up, Jeff Castle? And they say that is a Blanton's killer, right?
It depends on what Blanton's that you're talking about.
It is true. I think because it's 100 proof, if you put it up against a regular Blanton's at 93 proof, it definitely will take it. Now, if you put it up against the gold, maybe. I don't know. That might be an even playing field there. Now,
straight from
you got to take into consideration. No. I don't know what you paid for yours, but I paid like $58 for my John J. Bowman, and that is way less than what I would ever pay for a Blanton's Gold, right? So just on price, it beat it out right there, quite honestly. I'd rather buy the John J. Bowman all day, every day. I
paid $65 for my John J.
So still cheaper than what you would get Blanton's Gold for.
Oh, like half, yeah.
Yeah. So I would do that all day, every day, right? But again, like you would have to blind it. And I guess maybe I'll do a blind soon of Blanton's Gold and the John J. Bowman limited edition. But I do like both of them, right? So I don't know. That's just something that you'll have to blind. Guys, this live stream today didn't go too well, right? It started off with a lot of issues. We were supposed to do a few giveaways today. We didn't do them. You guys were supposed to see a nice little intro. We were supposed to talk about a few different things today. We only got through Jonathan's interview and then what these top 20 of 2024 for Whiskey Advocate. So that was good. So at least two things went well today. Jason, I know you had some issues when you were getting off and on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. Issues. Like it was crazy. I was like, oh man, I hope Jason still has chance to like talk to Jonathan at least or listen to Jonathan. So
I think I got it figured out. But again, it Carlos said at the beginning, it's a new streaming platform. We're working it out. We'll get there.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely get there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't have picked to do, and I'll put that on me. Maybe we shouldn't have picked to do a new streaming platform on an interview day.
It's okay. It's okay.
But
we gotta start somewhere.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like for the next few interviews, and I know we only have 14 people on, but just so you guys know, the next few live streams are going to be interview live streams. So the next live stream, we're going to have it at the beginning of February. Actually, February 6th, we're going to have Jazz Weaver from Bardstown. She's going to be on. And then hopefully, I'm still working it out with her.
You're going to throw it out there, aren't you?
I'm going to throw it out there.
Oh, boy.
So that people hound her about it. But hopefully, we have Nancy Fraley on for mid to end of February.
Huge.
So I'm talking to Nancy about it. She's trying to get her schedule settled, and she's trying to get me a schedule, like her free time, where she can actually be on. So we're working on that. Yeah. And then I also want to do a live stream. I mean, a live stream on a birthday live stream. So my birthday is the 19th of February. So if it doesn't end up, if we don't end up having Nancy for February, then we'll do a birthday live stream there.
So what we may do, and just throwing out there to the 15 people left. I don't know if you guys caught our Christmas live stream, but seems like folks liked our live panel. Carlos and I are going to do a lot more in-person live panels. So if you guys like those, let us know. And if Nancy can't do Carlos's birthday, I'd like to substitute for a live panel because, well, it's his birthday and I want to hang with him and we can bring some other folks in and it'll be awesome. But let us know if you guys like that. Seriously.
Nice. Yeah, man. That'll be really cool, actually, to do a live one. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, crap. Like, a lot of February birthdays. Look at that. Steven is on the 16th. Who else? Somebody said that theirs is on the 3rd. Oh, Josh said that his is on the 3rd. I know that Doc at Old Fashioned Ways, his is on the 22nd of February. So there's a lot of friggin' birthdays.
We got to bring Doc over. If he comes down here all that much, we got to just bring him into a live panel. Seriously.
I need to. I mean, the last time Doc was here, I couldn't meet with him, and he wanted to meet with me, but that was the time. That was when we got. What's the second hurricane that we got? It wasn't. Was it Helene? God. No, it was the second one. Helene was the one that went up to North Carolina. What was the second one?
I don't know.
It was the second hurricane, and he was stuck at Disney, right?
We just need to bring him over because I'm telling you what, the first hour, Doc and I could do dueling cocktails. It would be fun.
I mean, that would be amazing. You guys can go head to head with each other, and I can be over here. Good. And I could be over here with the little machine, and we could do a 3-way head to head.
Get out of here with your machine, but yes.
Nice. Oh, crap. Look at that. Look at Charles. The day after me, man. February 20th. Damn. A lot of February birthdays, man.
Nice.
Papa Santa said, I'm so old I can't even remember. We're planning a trip to New Year's back to Disney. Nice, man. So hope to see you guys again, Keith.
I'm not gonna miss Keith this next time if he comes back. So
it was such a cool time with them, and I'm sorry that we only had a little bit of time because I was only with them for like maybe an hour, maybe 45 minutes, but it was so cool to talk with Keith and with Dorothy. They're really cool. It seems like Doc goes to Disney every other month. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think he told me he was gonna come back in March, so or April. So I think that's about right. We just have to
pre-plan with him.
Well, that's the thing. We gotta he told me about it on Wednesday. He's like, "Hey, I'm flying in, or I'm about to land in Disney," and I'm like, crap, man. Like I can't. I would love to meet with you, but I can't because of work.
Yeah.
Dude, and then we have a live stream tomorrow. My son got practice tomorrow, and then he leaves on Saturday. So it's like, we just can't make it happen, man. But pieces have the best Pilates. I don't know what that is.
Pilates?
Okay.
What? No.
Pieces have the best Pilates. Okay. Then I've been to Disney. Not sure I want to go. Chill, Will. Yeah. I mean, Disney has a bad rap. Like, I definitely wouldn't go to, unless you have kids that you're coming with, I wouldn't go to Magic Kingdom.
No.
But you could go to Epcot. Epcot is more for like adults. You can do the whole little around the world thing. Yep. You don't even have to spend money. And that's the whole good thing about Disney.
What?
Here's the thing. No. Listen, you don't have to spend money on a ticket. you can just go to Disney Springs.
Yeah.
And kind of have that Disney experience.
Kind of,
right? You won't get on any rides, but you'll have the whole little Disney experience type of thing.
I was a season pass holder for 5 years, dude.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that, man. Good. Here's the thing. My son, he's 9 now. The last time he was at Disney, and this is my youngest son, the last time he was at Disney, he was probably like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. So my 15-year-old remembers Disney, but my 9-year-old does not. So he just told me the other day, he's like, hey, Dad, like, I want to go to Disney, but because I don't remember anything of it. And I'm like, crap, you're right. Like, the last time you were there, you were like a year and a half, maybe 2 years old. So I can see how he doesn't remember. So I'm like, I told my wife the other day, I'm like, crap, we're going to have to go back to Magic Kingdom.
So here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. And to Chill Will's comment, all right? Y'all, look, Carlos and I are an hour and a half from Disney, all right?
Yeah.
And I had season passes for many, many years. If you really, really want to experience Disney and you want to take the kids, or even as adults, you just want to go, I'm telling you, the best thing to do is get an on-property hotel, get the quick pass, and that is literally the best experience. It really is.
Yep.
Because you can skip the lines. You get to go to the front of the line, or you put your time in, your reservation for the rides. And honestly, like, dude, I was a season pass holder. You know the Avatar virtual ride?
Mm-hmm.
I never got into it, even as a season pass holder, because the folks from the hotels get preference.
Well, that's the problem, right? Hey, good night, Thomas. Thanks for
good night,
hanging out
Thank
here
you,
with us. Appreciate you, man. And that's the thing, man. It's like they changed their whole little what is it? The fast pass system. They changed it. And it sucks. Because before you could get on a few rides, now you have to go in through some genie stuff and maybe like pick out a ride, which is probably already like it just sucks now. But yeah, I mean that's what it is, right? If you don't want to wait in line, that's probably the best way that you can actually get in.
It is, yeah. Because even as a season pass holder, we stayed at the Hard Rock Hotel down there, and like skipped the line on so much shit. No, I'm sorry, that was Universal. I get them confused. Sorry.
So personally, I like Universal a little bit better.
I do too.
So did you hear that? And I'm sorry for turning this into like an Orlando live, guys.
A Florida thing, yeah.
Right. I mean, did you hear that they're getting rid of the? And if anybody hasn't heard, now you know, they're getting rid of the Simpsons World.
Yeah, but you know what? They still have Harry Potter World for anyone that cares.
Ah, man, Simpsons was my
I'm not
jam.
sure about this whole Mario World thing with Epic. I don't know.
I'm upset about the Simpsons World because that was my favorite.
I've done it. It was awesome.
And that's still my favorite. I always go and get a Duff beer.
Yeah.
My kids always get the little pink Homer Simpson donuts. And we always get on that ride.
But you know what? We did Back to the Future before they dialed that way back, which was awesome. Yeah. We did oh God, why can't I remember the name? The old shark thing.
I like personally the Jurassic Park ride is cool.
Yeah, it was all right.
I know it's Islands of Adventure, So if you guys don't know, there's Universal and then there's Islands of Adventure.
Yep.
If you pay more, you can get into both parks.
Both parks, yep.
If you just do one or the other, you can only get into one park, right? Islands of Adventure has other stuff. The Simpsons World was, or still is, until they got rid of it, in Universal. So is Transformers, which is an amazing ride. I love Transformers ride.
Transformers was good. Just don't go to Fast and Furious.
I haven't been there yet. Every time I've gone, it's been down.
It is the worst piece of crap ever. Now, that said, the Mummy ride is really cool.
I like the Mummy ride. I like the Minions one. I like Shrek is okay. Shrek is okay for like little kids.
Yeah. The Jimmy Fallon one sucked.
I actually liked the Jimmy Fallon one.
I didn't like it, but
I liked it. I mean, you get to race through New York City, you know?
Yeah. You need to race through, New York City because otherwise you get mugged, but yeah.
Yeah. And then the what's the other thing?
Harry Potter is unbelievable though. I'm just going to say.
So I haven't been to Harry Potter. So
dude,
I'll give you guys a little I don't know what's the actual like word for it, but I'm afraid of heights. I don't like heights. I don't do heights. I don't like roller coasters because of the heights.
But most of those are virtual.
The Harry Potter one,
it's virtual. Most of it.
No, but they have a roller coaster as well.
Well, that's the Hagrid's ride.
Yeah, I don't know what the other one is. I know. Are you talking about the one when you're on the broom?
Yeah, so you have the one at Gringotts where you do it over like old Universal, right? And then you take Hogwarts Express over to, Hogsmeade, and then that's where they have the one that runs through Hogwarts. But it's virtual, dude. It's cool as hell. Seriously.
I gotta look at it. I still haven't been to that one. Hey, good night, Keith. Thanks for getting on, brother. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, I mean it's cool. I heard it's cool, and even the Jurassic Park one, I heard it's pretty cool, but it still has that drop at the end with the T-Rex coming out, and I don't like heights. I don't like that feeling of my stomach dropping. Yeah. That's my issue with it. All right, guys. I think we're gonna call it a night. We've already been on for 3 hours and 35 minutes.
Let's do it.
Next live is gonna be better, guys. I promise.
It will. Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely will be better. We'll have some giveaways, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for getting on. You guys are awesome.
Everyone. Seriously.
Thank you for Jonathan for getting on. He was an awesome guest, and I hope that everybody, if you're still here and you saw the Jonathan interview, I hope you guys got some good info from that. And yeah, Westward Whiskey is definitely where it's at on the American single malt. So
agreed.
So definitely look out for them because they got some really good things coming out. So lastly, hey, go and check out Jason's content. Really good content. Cocktails, whiskey reviews, food, how to prepare food, how to make cocktail stuff, like really good stuff. Go and check them out if you guys have not checked them out yet. Subscribe, please, and show him some love. Also, be on the lookout for the new live streams that we have coming out. Like I said, you guys haven't seen it yet. I'm about to put it out maybe next week. We have Jasmine Weaver from Bardstown Bourbon. She's going to come out on February 6th. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, guys, we appreciate you. Oh, check out Pours poordecisions.club.
Yep.
Like I said, we still have a few more, like maybe 5, like Jonathan said, of the 17202 of the Westward. And we still have a few left of the short barrel Sean and Matt pick. So definitely go on and check that out. So
and if you haven't, check out Carlos's channel, because if you want to know anything about whiskey, check out Carlos.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. So guys, we're gonna end it here. Hey, Mark at Northwest Bourbon. If you haven't been on his stream, it's a really good stream. He's going to have Troyman on. He's going to have an open bar. Go and check him out. He's going to be on at 1 a.m. in about, 20 minutes? 22 minutes? At 1 a.m. Eastern. So definitely go and check him out. If you guys still want to get on a good live stream, go and check him out. That is Northwest Bourbon. Really cool guy. So
Mark is great.
Yeah, just let him know that I sent you over if you go over there. Or that we sent you over when you go over there.
Thank you.
So, yeah. And then, with that, guys, have a good night. Cheers.
Peace, brothers.